Hey, Brian, do I sound okay?
Yeah. Hey, we are live. Hold on one second here. What did I do wrong? Oh, here we go. There we go. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Welcome to another episode of the Low Carb Football Party. Brian and Greg here. Greg, how you been doing this week?
I'm doing really good. It's been a good week. I can't complain. Lots of good things are happening. The scales finally starting to move here at the end of the week, which is good after having a big last week. So I'm kind of excited about that. But overall, things are going really well. I can't complain.
Great. All right. So tonight we've got a few special guests lined up that are going to be joining at different times. Also, our main topic is low carb and or carnivore success stories. So let's not also forget about the Thursday night game here that we're going to be watching, the Giants against the 49ers. And we got a comment already. I know we were like a minute or two late. I'm sorry about that, Eric. Glad to
Brian
have
will
you here, though.
Brian will send you the $50 later.
All right. So, again, the main topic tonight is low carb or carnivore success stories. So, if you're watching, we'd like to have you put your success story in the chat and we'll bring those up and talk about them. We're going to also give our own success stories. And then we're going to have some guests come on and give their success stories and chat with us a little bit as well. So, Greg, why don't you get started and tell us what your success story is?
You know, if you guys, any of you guys have been following my channel a little bit, yesterday I did a video. I'm 10 days into full carnivore diet, and it's been going really well. My energy is better. My arthritis is less. It's improving. I've been killing my workouts with the physical therapist, so that's been going really good. And the first 7 days, I dropped 9.2 pounds, and right now I'm looking at. I mean, I want to say I've dropped, just like 3/4 of a pound this week, but right now I'm at a total of 92 pounds down in 8 months. So 8 months tomorrow, we'll see. Maybe I can squeeze out another pound or two tonight, but because tomorrow will be my 8 month weigh in. So hopefully it goes my way and I drop another pound or two. That'd make me really happy.
So that's great. I mean, you're almost at 100 pounds right now.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep, it's coming up. It's been an amazing journey. I can't believe even the clothes I just bought a month ago are getting loose, and they were a size down. So it's a good feeling. I just gotta buy cheap clothes, and because I still want to lose maybe another. Hopefully, I can lose another 70 pounds. I'm hoping. We'll try. That's for sure. As low as I can go and still be healthy. So, how about you, Brian?
Yeah. So as of yesterday, I think it was the last time I weighed myself, I am now down 80 pounds. Is that
Nice.
correct? 80? 80? Yes, 80. So I continued to lose a little bit more. I think the last time I mentioned I was at like 77 or 78. So like in the last week or so, I've lost a couple more pounds. So the weight loss is great. For me, success story, a lot of my success stories have to be a lot about other things, non-scale victory type of things, right? Um, I've talked about this before. I had AFib that I was diagnosed with back in 2018. And that's a heart condition where the electrical signals get out of whack and you go into these AFib episodes. And before going to carnivore, I was having a couple a week, and I'm almost 15 months now on carnivore, and I'm probably pretty close to the 13 to 14 month time frame, probably closer to 14 months without a single AFib episode,
Nice.
which is incredible because, like I said, it was a couple times a week, and it's been over a year and not a single episode AFib. My arthritis that I've had is gone. Joint pain, back pain, a little bit of mild depression that I had was just completely gone. I'm a happier person. I have more energy, motivated more to do things and so forth. Just so many different things there. And I contribute that all to, you know, the successes here with my eating and so forth. So those are my success stories,
That's
in a basic nutshell, I guess, or whatever.
that's awesome. And those non-scale victories are just huge. I mean, I kind of went through my list and it's like it's just amazing how much better I feel. I'm able to move around. I mean, Brian, it's one of those things when I started this journey back in January, I really thought I was going to be disabled. That's how bad I felt, how much I was hurting, how much pain I've been in. And it's gotten so much better and I'm able to move around and it's really a miracle. I mean, I do owe something to God for this one because it's changed my life for sure. And I'm pretty happy about it and looking forward to continually helping other people and just, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm 51 years old and, I just did it by changing what I eat. I haven't done a lot of exercise until recently with the physical therapy. And I've been able to take off the weight by just eating the right foods, the proper human diet.
Yeah. Yep. That is great. All right. So, again, if you've got your own success stories, put them in the chat so that we can talk them up for you. And I got it on the screen here. Greg says, welcome to the live stream, of course. Be sure to smash the like button to help us get this video out to more people. YouTube will put it out to more people. They'll see that it's live or that we're live, and then more people will come on to the channel. So the channels, I should say. We got a couple people coming in here. John, Carnivore Backwoods. Hey guys, just got home, cooking dinner. See you at 9.
Hey,
There's a
John.
little sneak peek for you. John is going to be one of our special guests joining us at 9 p.m. Eastern. So about 50 minutes from now. All right, James Riley, I think I heard you say you were from Iowa. Where y'all at? North Liberty here.
Hey, James. I'm from Mason City, which is north central Iowa, just about 30 minutes from the southern Minnesota border there. So just down the road. Yeah, I'm a few hours from you, 2.5 to probably 3 hours to where you're at. So thanks
And
for
I am
joining
from
us.
Virginia. I'm from Virginia, so unfortunately I'm nowhere near Iowa. Sorry. All
Hi, Becky.
right.
Becky's in the house, I see. Hi, Callie.
Kelly's here.
Where's everybody from tonight? Go ahead
Becky.
and put it in your comments below.
Yep. All right. So while we're waiting for more people to join and so forth, let's talk a little bit about the game tonight. New York Giants against the San Francisco 49ers. And so the Giants, I think, if I remember correctly, have kind of struggled so far this year, right? They got beat really bad by the Cowboys. How do you think this game's going to go?
Oh, I think I kind of have my favorite on this one. And part of it is because the quarterback of San Francisco and Brock Purdy played at Iowa State, and I've kind of followed him all through his college career. So I'm definitely cheering for San Francisco tonight. I think they'll make easy. It'll be an easy win for them tonight. I think we'll see, but
I think I have to agree with you. So Kelly's from Knoxville, Tennessee. All right.
awesome.
James, always good to know there are others in your area. I don't know what to say to the Virginia guy. Sorry. That's okay. So, I am originally from Ohio, Michigan area, right on the state line there. I was born in Toledo, Ohio, and then I lived across the state line in Michigan for a while before moving out to Virginia. So that's kind of Midwest right there. So, kind of in that area. The other thing I'm going to say is I'm repping college again. I know this is an NFL game, but the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. My youngest daughter is a
Yeah.
freshman there, and they play tonight against Georgia State, so I'm repping them.
Oh, yeah. I can't blame you
All,
there. I mean, definitely, that's awesome.
all right, so we've got our first guest here. I'm going to add them in. Becky, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Hi, Becky. How are
Good.
you?
Hi, I'm here.
All
Who's playing
right. Thanks
tonight?
for joining. So we've got the New York Giants against the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, 49ers, West Coast.
Yeah.
They beat my Steelers, though.
There you go.
Yeah,
Eric
10 and a
says
half.
49ers are a 10.5-point favorite. Virginia, it is. All right. So, Becky, let's our main topic tonight is about success stories on low carb or the
Ooh.
carnivore diet. So I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about your own success stories so far.
Oh my gosh. So when I started low carb in 2018, I was pretty dirty keto, but I reversed my type 2 diabetes. I got rid of anxiety and depression. I was just making a list today. Can I get my list? Just a sec.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an interview I'm going to be doing. I mean, it got so long. I used to have to take 25,000 IUs of vitamin D. I had GERD. I had GERD so bad that I had esophageal spasms. I had high blood pressure so bad that I had to go to the ER once because I called my doctor because I didn't feel good, and I tested my blood pressure and I couldn't get a reading. And guess what? In the ER, they couldn't either. So I had a form of psoriasis called inverse psoriasis. I used to get postnasal drip. It's gone. Oh gosh. Yeah, I was on so many medications at one time. I had dandruff. Anybody, nobody talks about dandruff. My dandruff is gone. Skin tag's gone. I lost 80 pounds doing dirty keto. And I don't know if you know, but I did have a relapse earlier this year after a lot of just kind of converging circumstances. And I gained 50 pounds in like 3 months. But I'm 25 pounds down now from that stupid weight gain in about 14 weeks. So I've given up Diet Coke in the past. I'm 4 weeks into no Diet Coke. And I mean, I could go on and on with all the things that low carb keto. Right now, I'm very, very, I say ketovore because I do try to keep my carbs under 10 grams a day, but I do eat avocado and stuff.
Okay.
So
I'm
I'm a pre-success story, but also I didn't gain diabetes back, so
Yeah.
in that relapse. So
that's good.
yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned the skin tags. I just did a video on skin tags, and actually Dr. Berry has a really good video from like a year or two ago that I watched about skin tags. But anyway, that's something that I've noticed. I've had smaller skin tags that are completely gone, and some of the really big ones are much smaller now. So that's
I have
definitely
one
something
left.
I've noticed. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Hopefully that one will be gone pretty soon.
It'll go away. Yeah, I had PCOS as a younger woman. I'm almost 61. So I had all the symptoms of hyperinsulinemia and insulin resistance, the skin tags, the dark patches, hair where women don't want it, So, yeah.
Looks like the Giants are kicking off here, and it's a touchback to the 49ers. So the game has started.
All right. Let me catch us up on a couple of comments here really quick. It looks like the NFC, the North Division is kind of represented here. Kelly's a Packers fan, even without Aaron Rodgers. And then, of course, Greg says, Packers, I'm a Vikings fan. And then I said, and I'm a Lions fan. So We've got the Packers, Vikings, and Lions all represented here from the NFC North. Becky, are you a fan of any of the teams?
You can just stick the NFC where the sun don't shine. I'm an AFC fan.
You're an AFC. All right.
She's a Steelers fan.
Steelers.
Oh, that's right. Steelers. Yes.
Yeah.
An A1 meat eater kid said hi to you all. So hello.
Hello.
Let's see. I think I'm caught up again. Oh, I do want to go back to James. It's his 51st birthday. So congratulations, James.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, I'm in the 51 club too.
Are you?
Yep.
Wow. I'm getting close.
I remember
I'm getting
those
close to
days.
50. I'm a couple months away from 50, so I'm getting close there.
I'm actually clinging to 60 until the very last minute.
And A1 Meat Eater Kid says, hoping my last 2 skin tags go away soon. So there you go. There's another person with the skin tags going away from eating this way. You cut out all the sugar and everything, and it just seems to make a big difference. The Lions are doing well in the division. Well, yeah, they're doing okay. They lost in overtime last weekend, so I'm not sure about that, but
the Lions are the team to beat in the division, I think.
We'll see. All right. So let's see. So we've talked a little bit about our own success stories. Again, if in the chat, anybody wants to share their success stories, go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll talk about it. So Greg, you talked a bit about your success story, and I think you said 92 pounds right now. So we're getting close to 100 pounds. And then you talked about last 10 days or whatever it is, 2 weeks here basically of doing carnivore. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference from being before you weren't like just keto, like you would do like a day or two of keto and a day or two of carnivore, you kept switching back and forth, but the difference with just going straight carnivore now, what are the differences that you're noticing there?
I think the biggest thing is I notice now I'm not, it's rare when I'm hungry. I'm doing, I went into it thinking I'm going to do two meals a day. And the first 7 days, 5 out of 7 days, I was OMAD. So in the last 2 days, I've been OMAD, just doing 1 meal a day. And that's one of the things I really noticed. I would say my stomach is more calm. I'm not having a lot of side effects from doing carnivore. So that's a bit of plus. And to be honest, I've never had keto flu ever. So I'm fortunate because I've never had that. But at the same time, I mean, my body is pretty much used to keto. So the adjustment for me to slide into carnivore has not been hard at all. I would say my energy levels have been really good. My pain levels, the arthritis pain is probably at least 50% less. And I think it's even getting better than that. So, which is a major win for me because that's, I was telling Brian earlier, if not all of you maybe caught this, but maybe, and that might have even been before we got on here, but in January, I thought I was going to be disabled the rest of my life. That's how much my life has changed by changing the foods that I eat, dropping the 92 pounds. And, I'd still like to lose another 50 to 70 pounds. I'll go as far as I can and be healthy. But, going to carnivore has been nice. I will continue to do this, especially when the pain continually gets better and I'm getting stronger. It's been pretty amazing, to be honest. So it's been awesome.
That's great. Now, Becky, how are you doing your eating? Are you doing like twice a day or OMAD? How do you typically do that? You're on mute. Sorry.
I was choking over here. I actually still do 3 meals a day.
Okay.
I do about 4 eggs and some bacon, but after I get to work. So around 9 o'clock in the morning before anybody comes in. And then around 1, I will eat, like today I had a couple of burger patties and some pork rinds. and guac. And then for dinner, I usually eat usually around 5, between 5 and 5:30. So that might be a steak or chuck roast or whatever I've prepped,
Yeah. Okay.
pretty
Good.
easy. I just can't. I'm only 5'2". I feel like I don't have the capacity to eat a pound. I need to eat like a pound of meat a day, but I can't do it all at once. So I spread it out.
My wife is 5'2", and she's the same way. She cannot eat a lot in one setting, so she ends up eating a few meals a day. And I'm currently doing 2 meals a day. There was a time period that I was doing 1 meal a day. What I found for me, that if I eat steak, particularly ribeye, I can do 1 meal a day if it's a large enough portion. But if I want to eat other foods, or I just don't eat as big of a piece of steak, particularly like if I eat like chicken wings, eggs, ground beef, I get hungry again. So I end up eating twice a day. So that's what I'm typically doing now myself, is twice a day. So,
And some days I do that too. Just depends
Yeah.
on how busy it is in the office. If I don't go out for lunch, I just sit at my desk to eat if there's nobody there. So yeah, because it's just a 2-person office with clients coming in. So.
All right. So I wonder if Greg's video is ahead of mine like it was last week. They just got the first down. Did you see that already?
9:30 left. It just said.
Okay, mine's at 9:27 and counting.
9:25 right now.
9:24. We're like exactly on. Wow.
So San Francisco's driving.
You guys are at what? I'm at like 9:48.
Are you really?
You're really behind.
Okay, I am really behind.
Uh-oh.
I was last week too. You guys were.
That's right. You were
spoiling
saying
it
that
all,
last week.
All day for me.
We're going to probably give it away.
That's all right.
I'm not going to say anything if something happens. Okay, nothing really happened anyway. Okay.
Because I can make it go to live, but it says it is live, so whatever. Amazon Prime.
Becky, do you have your own YouTube channel, or do you just watch all the other channels? You do? Okay.
I do. Yeah, I started at the about August 23rd, and it's just my vlog. I'm not going to interview people probably or anything like that. We'll see. But yeah, it's Keto Oregonian.
I'm going to
Spell
pull
that
it up here.
I love the way everybody tries to say it too.
That's why I always call you Becky.
Just call me Becky. It's too hard for you.
I know it is way too hard for me.
But it's clever, right? It's clever.
It is. It is for sure. I've watched a few of your videos. You do a great job. Here. So keep up the good work.
I'm just using my phone, and I don't even know how to say the name of this app. Is it KineMaster? KineMaster? It's great. I paid for it though.
Okay, so yeah, I found your channel. I had not subscribed, so I just subscribed, and I'm gonna put this.
I'm so offended.
Oh, sorry.
Not really.
I'm gonna put this.
I think I have like 60 subscribers. I have to tell you, I had a video I posted after the 24-hour live stream, and it was called My Thoughts After the 24-Hour Live Stream. And that video has had like 250 views. For me, that's like, it was like, what is going on? Did somebody post that? How did that get swept up in the algorithm for me?
That video's at 427 views 400? Right now.
Like, where's that feeding from? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All I did was cry in it. No, I didn't cry, but I said it kind of made me kind of weepy. Blah, blah, blah. It was kind of a girly video, just walking around my town.
I got to tell you though, you now have 61 subscribers because I just subscribed. So.
Thank you. Oh yeah, and I'm almost 61 years old. That's cool.
Oh, there you go. Who's your carnivore is here? Hello.
Hello.
He is out for his evening walk and listening.
Yes, and I am going to be on Carnivore Backwoods next month.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. Great. Okay, so let me see here.
Something did happen in the game.
Did it? What happened?
Oh,
I missed
did
it.
it?
Go
Yes, I
ahead and
gotta
tell us
mention
what happened. I'm going to do something on the
San
backside while you're doing
Francisco
that.
49ers kicked a field goal, and it was good.
Oh,
All right.
It's that
my
commercial.
favorite football memory is that my ex-husband, on my 40th birthday, had my birthday up on the big screen at Autzen Stadium in Eugene. That was awesome.
Hmm.
Cool.
That is
Happy
cool.
birthday.
Right.
If anybody has any success stories they want to share in the comments, go ahead and put them down, whether they're non-scale victories, scale victories, whatever. Go ahead and put it on there. Or if you have any questions, put a Q in front of it. Even if you have questions for Becky, myself, or Brian, put them in there.
All right. What did I do wrong? Oh, hold on a second.
Are you trying to be fancy?
Yes. Apparently, I'm not fancy.
Me neither.
You have to hit the add button first. There we go. All right. There we go. So we got a new little
Nice.
scrolling ticker here.
Ah,
To have everybody
Yeah,
subscribe
thank
to your
you.
channel. So definitely go check her channel out and
Yeah, go give her a boost.
subscribe.
Let's promote her up there and get her going good.
Kelly's subscribing too.
Right,
So you're
thank
going to be
you.
at 62 before you know it.
Woohoo.
All right. So 49ers are up 3-0. Not really that
All
surprised.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody in the chat has any questions for us, go ahead and put them in there. Put a Q in the front so that we know there is a question. And again, if anybody wants to share their own success stories, then go ahead and put those in the chat as well. So something I wanted to bring up and see what you both think about this. I was watching a YouTube video the other day with Chad Johnson, Ochocinco. Was that his name? Yeah, Ochocinco,
Mhm.
as he was known, number 85. So he was a wide receiver for
Oh,
the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals, for years.
Yes, I remember him.
And I think it was him and maybe Shannon Sharp or someone like that.
Mhm.
And they were talking about injuries in the NFL and how there's been so many injuries in more recent years. And Chad Johnson said it has to do with their diet and that they're eating crap and that they're having these green leafy smoothies and stuff like that, and that they're not feeding their bodies properly. And I think the other person was Shannon Sharp, and he was just like, "Oh, you're crazy," whatever. I personally think Chad Johnson is 100% correct on this, but let me get your takes. And Becky, since you're our guest right now, I'm going to start with you. What's your take on this?
Oh, I absolutely would agree with that. That there was a time when athletes, did meat. That was what they focused on. Then I don't know. I mean, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so I remember when things started changing. But it's even like I remember when the diet plate was a hamburger patty and some cottage cheese and a tomato slice. That was. I mean, that's that's what people thought would make you lose weight, and it's obviously what bodybuilders thought would make you gain. So if you have all these guys not being nourished, of course they're going to break bones and tear tendons, and they're not going to be fit. That's my opinion.
So Greg, what's your take on it?
I think what he says makes sense. I think nowadays everything is supplement driven. And a lot of those supplements are made out of plants, where they should be eating the beef. And, I just think sometimes there's a lot of fake stuff that they consume, thinking it's healthy, and that it's just not working like it should.
And how long are the healing times on these when they do get injured? That's what I'd be worried about.
I'm willing to bet there's a lot of chemicals in some of those supplements too, and that's not good. It can't be healthy. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion on it. I'm not sure, but that to me makes a lot of sense with what he's talking about. It could very well be. I remember there being a lot of injuries back in the day, though, too. So, I don't know how
Yeah.
much of that is, that some of it could be turf related too. Natural
Mhm.
grass is what everybody prefers to play on, but yet everything's
Mhm.
synthetic and it's just not quite the same.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think you see a lot more of like knee related torn ACLs, MCLs, and stuff like that, ligament type of injuries now than you used to. And definitely some of that could be the field surface. But I definitely think Chad Johnson is right about the nutrition part of it. So I
Definitely.
Well,
definitely have to
even
go
look
with
at,
that.
I mean, of course, linemen are big, huge guys, but a lot of them have that visceral fat. You can tell, just can't be
Hmm.
good.
Yeah. All right. So we have a couple of questions. So I'm going to go to the first question here. It's from Hoosier Carnivore. What has your experience been with naysayers from either family or friends? So, Becky.
I've not really had anybody say you shouldn't be doing that. I hear more often, "Oh, I could never do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know you can't because you are right now addicted to carbohydrates, processed food, sugar, whatever you want to call it, whatever your substance is." You can't. You can't imagine it, and because I remember, I mean, I grieved over the things that I gave up, it's like, can't do that anymore, but I I don't that's what I hear more than you shouldn't do it. Now, I just had a luncheon I had to go to, and I had a conversation with the lady sitting next to me about because she could tell. She said, "Is that a keto order you just made?" Because it was a Mexican restaurant, and I said, "No tortillas, rice, or beans, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, I went to my doctor, and they told me to go plant-based, like 3 meals a week only for meat." And I just was shaking my head, like, let me send you some resources, like let me help you. Uh I could tell she wasn't quite on board, but when I said I lost 80 pounds doing keto, she kind of perked up, so maybe I'll hear back from her. But
Hmm.
my kids, I mean, my son has done low carb in the past. He's not now. And my kids don't care what I'm doing. We live our lives separately.
All right. So, Greg, what about your experiences?
I'll say I haven't had a lot of naysayers. I think part of it is because I started with a low carb diet and then did the keto, and now I'm carnivore. But the proof is kind of in the pudding because they look at me and say, "Wow, it's the point when when you drop 92 pounds, people notice." And I think that nobody's questioning it really. They actually ask more questions about it so far. But I think if you keep it, very low carb diet, in simple terms, they don't get scared because a lot of people don't understand what carnivore is, and they're thinking, what is that? It's bad for you or whatever. But that's not the case. It's just a very low carb diet, and I think that's part of it. But I have not had a lot of pushback. Now, if I had some healthcare professionals in my family, that'd probably be a different story because they're taught this what do I want to say, just a certain lifestyle should be
Protocol.
upheld.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it's not correct. So it's been
Mhm.
influenced by the food companies and big pharma, and I think that's why they're set in their ways. But my doctor's been very open to what I'm doing, so it's been amazing for me. How about you,
My
Brian?
doctor didn't say anything about sorry, my doctor didn't say anything about my what I was eating, but yeah, definitely did not think I could lower my cholesterol. That's the only thing she pushed. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So for me, when I first started going to carnivore, there wasn't much said when I did keto. So I did keto for a couple months first, and it looks like the Giants just got a field goal, by the way. So it's 3-3, 3:18 to go first quarter. Okay. So, I did keto for first couple of months, and there wasn't really much of anything said. Then when I said carnivore, like complete, like I'm not eating any vegetables or any of that kind of stuff. There was a little bit from the family of like, I'm not sure that that's right, but I'm not going to stand in your way type deal, go ahead and try it. And then as time went on, and I was losing weight and I was doing better, feeling better. And then I had some blood work done and my blood work looked pretty good. My triglycerides went way down. HDL went up. My LDL went up a little bit, but not that badly, actually. So far, I go back again here in like another month, or actually, no, a couple weeks, I think 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens this time. But so as that happened, they kind of seem to be okay with everything. The one thing I'll say though is I'm this type of person that I'll sit there and I'll just start spitting out facts, talking about stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, if you eat this, blah, 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 or something, and they're like, Brian, you just need to shut up. We don't want to hear it. There he goes again, that kind of thing. So there is that. The other thing that I will say is my doctor. So my family doctor, when I first told him that I was going to a low carb type of diet, kind of like keto, when I said the word keto, he's like, ooh, that's not good. That's not healthy for you. That's not sustainable. You can't do that. And I said, well, it's kind of like that, but yeah, I'm still getting like some healthy carbs. I started saying the things that I felt like he wanted to hear. And then he was like, okay. And so far, because my blood work hasn't been too bad, he hasn't said anything more. So that was kind of interesting. And there was no way when I actually went full to carnivore that I was going to tell him, yeah, I'm now carnivore. Because
I
just the
didn't
way he
know.
acted with the keto thing. Actually, if I told him I was carnivore, he'd probably look at me with some strange look like, what are you, a lion or something like that? So I don't know. It's interesting, but and it's also interesting because he's a bit younger for a doctor, and it just goes to show you, just because they're younger doctors, they're not getting any kind of different educational background, and they're not really open to other ideas. They're just going with what they're being told. And I know some of it has to do with the funding that they get from the government and so forth. They can't really go against what the government recommends. So that's part of it too, if they want that certain
And
funding.
insurance companies too.
Yeah.
Insurance
And
companies push the statins too.
and all, yeah, the the actual pharmaceuticals, they come to their offices and they're like, here, try this particular, whichever medication it is on your patients the next time that someone comes in and needs something like this. So I don't know. Those are my experiences there. So let's go to our next question. And this looks like it's a 2-part here. From Callie. I get thirsty most days. Not sure what is up with anyone. What is up with anyone else? Maybe too much salt. So you guys have any ideas, or do you want me to tackle this one? Because I kind of have maybe an idea, but I'm not sure.
Which I guess the big thing is what kind of diet is she on, for one. But I do. I mean, I will say this on a keto, low carb, carnivore diet. I drink a lot of water. So I think it can be normal to drink a lot, but that's just me. I'm always drinking something anyways. It could be the electrolytes, I guess. If you're drinking some kind of electrolytes, that would make you more thirsty, I would think. I don't know. What are you thinking, Brian or Becky?
So, I mean, super excessive thirst can be a sign of diabetes. So I'm not sure where she's at on her journey. But if she's pre or very close to diabetic A1C, that could be an issue. I know I was drinking so much Diet Coke I didn't in the past 4 weeks ago that I didn't know when I was thirsty. I was just sipping all day long. And then so I was doing that with water when I switched over, just drink, drink, drink. And then I started to realize, am I really thirsty? Not really. So I don't know. It's changed a lot for me. So I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you think, Brian?
So I think I can give a little bit of background because I was on another live where Kelly was asking questions earlier this week, and I'm pretty sure that she's doing carnivore, but she's really new to it, like in the first week or two, first couple weeks, I think. So a couple of thoughts that come to mind right away for me. Oh yeah, here we go. So she says she's carnivore. Pretty, like I said, I'm pretty sure that she's newer on carnivore. So a couple of thoughts that I was thinking is, first of all, if you're newer on carnivore, there could potentially be something with electrolytes, because sometimes when you first get started, you need to up the electrolytes. So you're talking like sodium, magnesium, potassium, potentially maybe calcium, that kind of stuff. And sodium could definitely be it. One thing that could be happening is if you were doing the standard American diet, you may be going to the bathroom a lot, just because you're getting excess water out of your body from carbs that were in your body and so forth that were soaking up some of the water. So doing that could also be making you thirsty. So that's a potential thing. I don't think it's too much salt, but we don't know how much salt you're having, right? Because part of her question here was maybe too much salt. Not sure how much salt you're having. I can tell you I eat quite a bit of salt in my food that I season with. And if I'm working out or doing something more strenuous where I'm sweating quite a bit, I will actually maybe even put a little bit of salt in my water, just because I know that, that when you sweat, sodium is one of the things that you sweat out, magnesium, potassium, so forth. So that's why electrolytes can be key, especially early on the carnivore diet. So those are some of the initial thoughts that come to mind about thirstiness. I guess it depends too on how much you are drinking. Maybe you're not drinking enough. Yeah. So it depends. I don't think you need to necessarily drink a lot, but I personally, I have a 32-ounce water bottle here, and I probably fill this up about 4 times a day or so. So I'm probably around 120 ounces, 130 ounces or so, somewhere in there. But that doesn't mean that somebody else needs that much, but that's probably a pretty good amount. So those are kind of the things that I'm thinking.
I was going to say, Brian, too. Didn't catch if you said this or not, but I think if a person has too much of electrolytes, your body has to get rid of them.
Get rid of it.
There's a good chance if you're taking in too many that maybe that's why you're that's happening.
Dehydrated. Yeah.
So that's a pretty good point, Greg. And she does say, yes, I'm pretty new for carnivore. And then she says that she adds element every day. So there's always that possibility too, that you're getting a lot of electrolytes with the element.
Yeah, I stopped adding electrolytes every day. If I'm feeling fatigued, then I will add. I use Keto Chow electrolyte drops instead of element, but because it's a liquid, no flavor.
So one suggestion.
So I could see if you were doing it all the time, it might.
Yeah. So one suggestion I would give to Kelly is if you aren't having any cramping in your legs or like headaches, then maybe try going down to like every other day on the element or something, or cutting it out a little bit and see if that makes a difference with going to the bathroom. And if you still aren't cramping or getting headaches, then you're probably good in terms of your electrolytes. Most of the time, what I've found, like if you need salt or something, you might get headaches. And I think it's magnesium is one that's big with the leg cramps and so forth. So if you're not getting those things, it could be that you really do have enough and maybe even too much electrolytes right now. So those are all things to consider. All right, let me catch up.
I was just going to remind everybody that's on the video, make sure you hit that like button to get this out to YouTube. That'll really help bring more people in. That would be great.
So Laura is here, Laura Conway. So hello. And Woodster 72 is here. Howdy.
Hello.
And Laura has another question for us. Has anybody researched Gymnema? I don't know if I pronounced that right. Gymnema supplement. So I haven't researched it or used it. It is a supplement that helps regulate blood sugar levels. Just saw some info on it aimed at diabetics in research. Becky or Greg,
Never heard
do
of
you have
it.
any experience?
No.
Yeah, I do not either. So I don't know, but I can say that if you're doing a low carb diet like keto, Atkins, ketovore, whatever, or if you're going completely no carb with carnivore, you're going to notice that your blood sugar levels are going to come back down to reason, depending on where they were, it could take a while, but that's something like if you're already on some sort of medication, let's say, you have to kind of work with your doctor and make sure that you are slowly decreasing that medication as you're doing a low carb or a no carb diet, just so that your blood sugar levels don't get too low. So if you are doing one of these diets, hopefully your blood sugar levels are going to get in a good spot that you don't need to use a supplement. One thing I can say is Professor Bart K will tell you that you do not need any type of supplements on the carnivore diet, that you get everything that you need from the diet, right? And I believe that too. And that includes vitamin C. Like people say, oh, you need vitamin C. But there is a little bit of vitamin C in meat, particularly red meat. And like eggs, I think, has some vitamin C. And you don't need a lot when you're not eating carbs. You just don't need as much vitamin C as somebody that's eating a standard American diet. So I don't think that you really need to do the supplements if you're doing this diet. And even looking at this thing here, if blood sugar is an issue, you want to be careful, because if you're doing this diet, you're probably going to see your blood sugar levels start to go down, and you want to be careful with anything else that might be decreasing it as well. So I'll say that.
I will say this. My best friend, he's a type 1 diabetic, and he's been doing a low carb diet here since the beginning of the year. And he has had the best control over his diabetes than he's ever had before. He's using the least amount of insulin he's ever used. He said it stays consistent just by changing the way he eats. So a low carb diet, and I know he's low carb, so it's one of those things. It's a lot easier to regulate, and he does really well with it. Now that's his situation. Everybody's situation could be a little bit different, but I know he's been very happy with the results, and he's been a diabetic for I think like 30 years now. So it's really worked well for him.
So Tam Stang says, hi, hey Becky and all. And I'm going to go back.
He's my fellow Oregonian. That's right. Tam, you're in Oregon, right? Yes, we talked about a meetup.
I'm going to go back really quick to Kelly's questions, and Carnivore Backwoods makes a good point. Your system is flushing. I drank a lot of water in the beginning too. So yeah, it could be like oxalates that you're dumping out, or just the carbs and the excess water that was in your body and so forth. So that could very well be it as well. And she did mention she's 1 month right now on carnivore.
I'm going to
right.
raise my window shade just a sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm getting in the dark.
And so Laura says, and this goes back to her
That
question
might
about
be too much. Keep going.
So Laura, going back to her question about the Gymnema supplement, if I said that correctly, it was being compared to metformin in studies, but she said her blood sugar is fine. Just happened to see it, and she has a friend who was recently diagnosed severe diabetic. So hopefully your friend learns about low carb and no carb diets, because that's the best way to deal with diabetes, really is.
My A1C was in the 8s, and now it's 5.2. And my doctor took diabetes off my chart. So,
and what was the time period that it dropped from 8 to 5.2?
Like from 2016 into, well, it was 5.1 actually, like 3 years straight. So, and I would say in the like from 2020 on, yeah.
So 3 to 4 years it dropped that much.
Yeah. But probably less than that. I just hadn't had it tested.
Okay.
I don't very much like doctors.
So Tim Stang says that the spotlight is on Becky with the light, with the lighting.
Yep.
It's a Western facing.
She's our guest. She's in the spotlight.
I'll figure out the whole studio situation one of these days.
So I haven't been paying much attention to the game. They're early second quarter now, and it's 3-3. Yeah.
It's been a battle. It's a lot closer than I thought it'd be so far.
Oh, that was some tackle. All right. So I know it's a little bit before 9 o'clock, but we have another guest here, so I'm going to bring them in. Let's see. He's not there yet. Oh, probably because it's before 9.
He's not ready.
You can. Oh, there he is.
Wait. Let me do this. Wait, he won't be able to see the private chat, really.
If anybody else has any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. Or if you have any success stories you want to share, go right ahead. Or if you have even if you have a YouTube page you want to promote, go ahead and put your address in there, and maybe everybody can sub to one another. There's nothing wrong with that. We promote that on this channel.
Yep.
Do you want to hear a gross success story?
Sure.
This is me being super vulnerable, guys.
Okay.
Back in the day, I used to get pinworms all the time, and I have not had any since going low carb. So those little suckers eat sugar.
So what? I don't know that I've ever heard of those types of worms.
Yeah,
what
I
are
don't think I have either.
Oh my gosh, you guys don't want to know.
Okay. Maybe we'll just leave it at that for now. Then
look it up.
Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, Google that.
All right, so I think John is ready, so I am going to bring him in. John, are you there?
I'm here. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, John, welcome.
John knows what pinworms are, don't you?
Oh, I know what pinworms are. Yes.
Yeah, you don't get them anymore. I don't. That's what we were just talking about.
I try not to get them in the first place, but yeah.
Well, yeah, right. Darn kids bringing them home.
All right.
How's my audio? I just got this microphone.
It sounds good. Yeah.
Good.
Beautiful.
So since you're just joining us, let's go back to our original topic of success stories. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your own success story here?
You cut out on me there. Tell what story? I'm sorry.
Success stories. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your own carnivore success story?
Well, the list is getting longer daily. Let's see. I'm no longer diabetic. I've gone from a 7.1 A1C down to a 5.7 as of my last blood work, and I'm sure I'm lower than that now. I'm off all my medications for diabetes. My blood pressure is the best it's ever been, controlled or uncontrolled. I've reduced down 3/4 of my medicine, so I'm down to just one pill of benzapril a day. And I'm planning on getting that out of here probably in the next month, 2 max. Let's see. I no longer have skin tags. Let's see. I tell you, and I try to stay away from weight-based victories, but something dawned on me. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the picture I posted on my Facebook this morning of my wife and me at our wedding 24 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I just realized that I can actually achieve that weight again. And I never thought I could get down to that. And I realized that I could probably do that before I hit my 1 year mark. And that has just had my mind completely just buzzing. Just the thought of being back down to my weight that I was back then when I got married. Because in that picture, you can see I got a little bit of a belly in that picture. So I wasn't as skinny as I was at some points, but I was probably in the 230, 235 range. You know, I'm at 270, I lost track here, 272, 273.
Wow.
You know, I'm well on my way. And if I continue on at my 0.36 pounds average that I've had for the last 200 days, I'll be well into that range long before I hit March 1st, 2024. And that just rolls my eyes in my head. I just can't hardly believe that could happen. I can't believe that I'm at where I'm at now just since March 1st. When I started this diet back in March, and when I first started researching in February and it started in March, I was skeptical. I didn't believe it. I was like, how can you possibly lose all this weight, eating steak and eggs and bacon? I've been eating that all my life. I mean, my dad raised a meat eater, trust me, so, it was hard to believe. And, and then Callie there's talking about, she's on her first month. I mean, she's just now hitting that point where you really start to feel the benefits of this diet. And, I dumped a lot of weight in the first month, but then it just consistently just kept on happening. My wife's down, I think, 35 pounds? Yeah, 35 pounds, since March 1st, and she's doing excellent. And we're both could make our wedding weight by the 1st of March. That would be awesome. So, lots of victories, and I normally stay away from the scale because I don't think the scale is the victory of this diet. I think health is. I think nutrition is. I think the overall well-being is a better victory. But that's a big victory for me mentally to be able to get back down to that weight. Because, like I said, who would have thought you could get back there? I mean, I'm 49 years old, and I haven't been that weight in 20 plus years. And I had just wrote it off that I will never be that skinny guy again that I was back then. And I realized that, yeah, I can be, and I can be completely healthy and better feeling than I was 20 years ago. Because back then I still had all my aches and pains and all the stuff that went with the bad diet that I was on then, which was mostly liquid and beer at the time, but we won't go into that stories. But, it just, that's the reality of it. So, I consider all of it a victory. I consider my channel and you guys a victory. I mean, you guys look at it. We all started our channels here just about the same time, and we're reaching a large group of people, and we're getting it out there and letting people know. I mean, I've hit 600. I think Brian, you're pushing 1,000, aren't you? I think.
Yeah, I'm over 700. I got a ways to go to 1,000
pushing closer, and Becky down there, I think when I joined her channel, she only had like 20 subscribers. She's 3 times that now. So she's moving, and tonight and, getting some people, she's going to pick up subscribers, and we got an interview with her here, in a week and a half, here, Becky. And, hopefully we'll pick up some more subscribers for her, and we'll get this message out there, because I think it's absolutely vital that people know. Whether they do it or not, that's completely on them. But
Yeah.
the fact is the information's there, and they need to have it. They can have the information, whether or not you can, the old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But least ways it knows the water's there, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I tell you, after being in the community previously for 4 years and seeing just kind of like experts and the celebrities and mostly those people coming back and finding this grassroots effort had just busted out was so encouraging to me. And that's why I wanted to get in and start telling my story. Such
And
as
the
it is.
Absolutely.
grassroots effort is what's going to really bring more and more people in as well.
Yep. Yep.
There's people that relate to me that won't relate to Brian. There's people that relate to
Yeah.
Brian that won't relate to Becky, and there's people that Becky will relate to that Greg won't. And that's the great thing about this. Of all the doctors, I like Ken Berry because he's a country boy. I mean, he relates to me, so I like him. But I also like Dr. Anthony Chafee because he's just so well informed. I mean, that man has such a mind. What'd you say?
Brilliant. He's
Yeah,
brilliant.
he's brilliant. Yeah, I've just listened to him and getting him in conversations, and he's brilliant. So he relates to me too. But I really gravitate towards Ken Berry, and that's the great thing about this is there's a lot of people out there who can relate to people at their level and bring the diet to them to understand.
Mhm.
I'm a Kelly Hogan fan.
So I'm
Oh,
going
I
to
love
catch us up
Kelly.
on a couple of things really
Her
quick.
energy is addicting.
It is.
So Tam Sting says she's at a local pub, just ordered a ribeye. All right, ribeye.
Lucky.
That's my favorite.
Outstanding.
I'm going to go back to
What-
Laura again. So Laura had talked about her friend, or she asked about the one supplement, and her friend was diabetic. So now she's letting us know a little more here. She sent her videos. Today she wanted ice cream. That was right after a conversation about looking at sugary foods and breads and rice. As heroin, only sugar will make you lose your eyesight in digits. So, keep doing the best you can with that friend, right? Tell them, when you can about the way that things are going for you and how it's improving things, and hopefully they'll come around.
Can I talk about an interview I saw today? Dr. Eric Westman interviewed Dr. Vera Tarman, who's an addiction specialist who works with people in rehab for drug addiction. And then they get a food addiction going on because they are addicted type personalities. And she says almost inevitably all of them will say kicking processed foods is harder than their meth addiction.
Yeah.
You know?
There's
Crazy.
a score in the football game, by the way.
Oh, who?
Did that
Oh,
count? Because I saw there was a
Yeah,
flag.
it did count. The
Okay.
49ers scored a touchdown, so it's 10-3.
Okay.
all
And we
right.
have a question here for everybody. So I'll read the question and then we'll get started here with it. Do any of you eat fruit, and what are your opinions about adding it to a carnivore diet just to stir things up a bit? So, John, let's start with you.
All right. So my thoughts on this is that your liver can only deal with certain things at a time. And if you want to be in ketosis and you want to be losing weight, the last thing you want to do is add any type of sugar into your diet. So as you're trying to manage your weight down and get it down to a whatever level that you're trying to reach, adding sugar will just stall you, delay you, and make it harder. So fruit in the beginning is an absolute, no, I wouldn't do it. Now, once you're maintaining, I think that you could probably have it once in a while, but I wouldn't recommend it on a regular basis because, especially, and I'll add this caveat: if you're addicted to sugar, you can't do it. Period. If sugar is your thing, and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I got to have 5. I wanted to have one mango, now I've ate 5 of them, and I got to have eat a whole thing of bananas because that sugar is your addiction. And I would touch it all, but I think that some people can add it back in. I think we've seen some people who've added some of that back into their diet, and they're doing okay on it. But they're highly active, they're burning a lot of energy, and they've reached their ideal weight. you're not going to reach your ideal weight by throwing sugar back into the mix. It's going to slow you down, if not stop you.
Yeah.
Becky, how about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, technically, I'm not a carnivore, so my only real only fruit is avocados are fruit, I believe, and I don't feel that they don't taste sweet, so I don't know what. They don't have a lot of carbs, so not too worried about that. And if I ever reintroduced dairy, I might have some blueberries, but that would be it. And I'm kind of like, this is a kind of a sliding scale, and it does depend on what your goals are and what your, tolerance is for these things. So, but I wasn't much of a fruit eater before anyway. So,
Brian, I'll add one more thing if you don't mind.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you go back in time, well, let's go back 100 years, and you were going to get fruit. Well, you would only be in season, and so you couldn't go to there wasn't a grocery store to go to. And so if you're eating fruit in season and you're just eating a limited quantity of it in season, I think that's perfectly okay once you've reached your ideal weight and as long as you're not addicted to it. But, so you have to think about, when is fruit in season? Well, strawberries are going to be in season in June. It doesn't mean you should be eating a whole bunch of them in December, right? Because nothing's in season in December. Diet should be adjusted by the seasons. Blueberries are going to be in July, June, July, that time frame, and then they're going to be gone. Blackberries, same thing. Bananas are towards the equator, but they're not normally a fruit you're going to find up in in the northern part of the world. So some fruits you might want to avoid, but it's going to have to be a case-by-case basis, and it's really going to depend on you. And what I would say is, get to your ideal weight, get yourself established, beef, bacon, butter, eggs, keep it simple, get to your ideal weight, and then add in something and see how your body reacts to it. You can add in a little bit of this and see how your body reacts to it. Like my buddy of mine, he thought he could add, he tried eating a slice of pizza, and his body said, no. And it shut, and he's like, no, I won't ever do that again. Your body will react to it within hours of you eating something. I ate some taco meat where we'd seasoned it with some taco seasoning, and it absolutely had me bent over. It was hurting so bad. My body was like, don't eat that again. So, you'll learn quickly on this diet because you've eliminated all the bad stuff and your body's healed. And when you add something back in it don't like, it's going to tell you.
You will know.
All right. So, Greg, let's go to you for this question.
I think it really depends on where you're at in your weight loss journey. I would say that if you're at your goal weight, you do what you want to do. If you want to add some back in, why not? You've achieved your goal where you're at. It's going to affect your body, so you have to be ready for that. To me, if you aren't at goal weight, I look at fruit as candy because it's sugar, and I would just avoid it. And I haven't ate fruit all year, and I have not missed it. I just tell myself, hey, I can have that when I'm at goal weight if I want to do that, So for me, it's just one of those things. It really depends on where you're at in your journey. If you're at goal weight and feel you can add it back in, why not? It's your journey, your life. You do what's best for you. And I guess that's my approach to it.
All right.
Fructose does act like alcohol in the liver, though. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Yep.
Probably the great driver of fatty liver disease.
And it don't matter what the sugar is. It don't matter if it's fake sugar or real sugar. It hits your liver the same. It will stop your weight loss. It will stop your diet. It'll take you out of ketosis. It don't matter if they're net carbs or total carbs. Those are all just lines to use to sell stuff to you. It's not about calories.
And justify bad behavior.
And justify, yeah, absolutely. Go to the store.
I did.
Go to the store, find the keto section, and start looking at the keto items. Flip it around and look at the ingredients, and it's going to be loaded full of sugar because they put keto on the front, and your mind says, "Oh, this must be good for me, so I'll get that and I'll take that home." And then not only is it not good for you, and it's full of all kinds of crap, then you're like, "Oh, that was so good! I'm going to have 2 of those. Well, maybe I'll have 3 of those," and you just end up binge eating keto stuff. So they still got you in the trap. You just fell into the wordplay.
Same companies too. Look at them. You know.
Yeah.
They are.
Most of it's Kellogg, but we won't have that conversation.
All right, so I think you guys all answered this pretty well, but I'm just going to add a couple of quick things. So personally, I do not eat any fruit. I do not recommend doing what Paul Saladino does and eating a lot of fruit. He is ridiculously active, and actually, I would be concerned with what he's doing inside to his body, even though he's very active, just because of, like John already said, sugar. It doesn't matter if it's fake sugar, artificial sweetener, whatever. Any type of carb really breaks down in your body as glucose, which is sugar. So that's a bad thing for you. If you're eating, and this again kind of goes, I think it was John talked a bit about this. If you're eating some berries seasonally or whatever, like was done 100 years ago, that's not a problem. Certain fruits are going to be worse for you. Like watermelon is just loaded with sugar, right? So certain fruits you definitely want to be careful about. Stay away. Banana is another one, has a lot of sugar in it. So just be very careful with that. And again, I think Greg was talking about this. If you're at your goal weight, that's one thing. John, I think, mentioned this too. It's one thing if you're at goal weight having some of that fruit, but if you're still trying to lose weight, think about this, what happens here. So you're eating a low carb, high fat diet, right? So you're bringing in a lot of fat into your body, and then you start eating some of that fruit, and you have the sugar, the glucose, and so your cells are going to take as much of the fat that it can take, and if it fills up, it's going to lock up, and that's called the Randall cycle. And then that sugar is going into your blood, and then that's where you get the issues with the insulin resistance and so forth. The other thing is, though, your body is going to start, for energy, burning that excess sugar instead of the body fat that you currently have. So you're not going to lose the body fat that you're still trying to lose. So that's another reason why it's a bad thing when you're not at your goal weight and you're still trying to lose weight. Because when we say we want to lose weight, we really want to lose body fat. So that's what I'll add to that. Let me catch up a little bit here. Low Carb Carnivore is here. So hey, everyone.
Chuck.
How you doing, Chuck?
Laura had mentioned sugar addiction literally rewires your brain just like drugs do, but worse. Yes. And I tell you, like those companies that we were talking about, that John was talking about with, and Becky was talking about with the keto, they list keto friendly or whatever. And it's a lot of the same companies, right? These companies actually have people on their payroll that are trying to find the right mix of sugar and other ingredients that keep you hooked and wanting to keep going back to that food. So keep that in mind.
I guess something.
And then they use. Oh, go ahead, John.
Okay, just something real quick, and I think it was somebody on the 24-hour live the other day. I'm not exactly sure, but it was a really good point. When you're having that craving for sugar, eat bacon, eat a steak, eat some meat. Because what's happening is that craving, your body's like, oh, you gotta have this. And what you feed yourself at that moment is what your body's going to wire itself to. Mm-hmm. And so if you decide, I'm gonna have a bat. When I first started this diet, we would fry up 3 pounds of bacon at a time, and I would keep it in a gallon bag in the refrigerator. And then when I had a craving, I go over to the refrigerator and I grab a piece of bacon out. It's salty and it's fatty and it's good, and you chew on it, and that would cure my craving. And that rewired my brain to that craving isn't going to be sugar I'm feeding to it. It's going to be fat and salt. So, and I don't remember who brought that up at the 24-hour live, but it was a really good point, and I was making a mental note of it at the time, because you're at a state where you're going to wire yourself to that.
There's a comment here that I want to bring up from Callie. I just want to let you all know I love following people who I can ask questions and learn from. So having these podcasts are very informative, and I take notes from your answers. Thank you, Carnivorous.
Thank you.
So yes, this is your example is exactly why we are on here doing these live streams, right? You know, we want to get the word out here about carnivore, but we also want to help people with sharing our own experiences, and people ask questions, and you know, we're not necessarily giving you medical advice, but we're going to give you our experiences and you know, answer the questions based on what we have seen and so forth, and that's going to help you in your journey and so forth. So definitely
Callie's
thank
been
you
on
for
my
that,
channel
Callie.
since about the beginning of it when I started it. She's been following me on my channel, so she's been around. She's been on my Facebook and on my channel, and I appreciate her. You know, I didn't realize. I guess I probably should have, because I had somebody order T-shirts in Knoxville, and I was looking at that thinking, who's ordering T-shirts in Knoxville from my store? And I went back and looked and realized that was probably Callie. But yeah, she's been following us for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks since we all started pushing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's what we did. We listened to people. We learned, right? That's how you learn. It's great.
Yep. So Tam Stink says, I
Tam.
wanted to eat watermelon this summer, but didn't. We have great watermelons from Hermiston, Oregon. Did I say that right? Hermiston. Yep.
Yep. That's what I said.
I used to love watermelon myself.
Yep. Best. We also have really great blueberries here, though, in Oregon, so that's a trade-off.
When my grandpa was alive down here in East Tennessee, he grew watermelons on a couple of different places, and everybody came from miles around to get his watermelons. He was just an amazing farmer at growing watermelons. He grew tobacco and a bunch of other stuff too, but his watermelons, we'd sit out there on the side of the road with a truck loaded full of watermelons, and we just sell them. You know, people would come from all over the place and buy watermelons right out of the back of his pickup truck.
So we have another question, but before we get to that, I'm going to go into a couple of other things real quick. Twin Maples says, hey, y'all, what's shaking? Carnivore Soldier. Howdy, y'all.
Hey, Larry.
Hello.
How's it going, everybody?
Tam says, I would eat some nice crunchy salt when I would get cravings. That's another thing you can do. Salt. Yep.
I do that at work when I'm feeling like I start that afternoon slump sometimes, just because I will just take some Redmond salt and just lick it off my hand. And it perks me up.
All right.
How old is Paul Saladino?
Is he in his 40s, maybe? I'm not sure. So the question here, so how do we argue against Paul Saladino's blood work? No issues. I know what my answer is here, but let me go around the table, or whatever you want to call it here. So John, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
How do we argue against his blood work? No issues. I'm not arguing against it. Hold on a second. My wife wants to walk through here. Just 1 sec, guys. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Can't walk through with pajamas on. Sorry. So, I follow him. I've watched his channel. I think that he's got some crazy ideas out there. I don't argue against his blood work. I don't think that he's how do I want to say this? It works for him, but he's burning an immense amount of energy, and so that extra glucose that he's getting through fruit, he's he's out there, burning off through his physical activity. So I think that helps it immensely. I don't think that the sugar is going, unless he's eating it in excess over a long period of time. It took years before my blood work got to a point where, when I was on the SAD diet, before it actually showed up and said, hey, you're going to be a diabetic, right? He's not that old. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd argue against it. I'm not saying that what he's doing is wrong. I just think that you need to be careful about it, because it can lead you back down a road to right where you were at when you started. And it'll be a happy road, because you'll be getting the addiction, and you'll be getting the endorphins from the sugar, and you'll be getting all that stuff, and you won't even know you're back on that road until you're way back on that road. Then you got to start back all over again. So I don't like. That's my thoughts on it. What's your thoughts, Becky?
Well, if we're talking maybe his cholesterol numbers, okay, maybe he has low LDL. Well, we're kind of realizing that maybe that's not a great place to be. Maybe that's all those small sticky particles that are clogging up your arteries. I mean, I don't know what.
I guess it'd be better if we knew what his blood work was, because I haven't.
Yeah, right. We don't know. We don't know. What's his liver doing? What's his visceral fat like? You could look fit and healthy on the outside and still have a lot of visceral fat. So I don't know.
What do you think, Greg?
We'll tell.
I'm going to answer your question with a question. Who's Paul? I don't know who he is. So
Paul
he was a diehard carnivore for a long time.
Really?
Yes, he was a carnivore. He's considered a doctor, though I believe he is not. Is it psychology or is it chiropractic?
Psychiatry, or something along that lines.
It wasn't anything to do with nutrition. But so he was carnivore for quite a while, and he started having some issues, and he said that because of the issues, he went back to putting some fruit in his diet, and it's quite a bit of fruit. He eats a lot of fruit, honey, stuff and like honey. That. Yep. So a lot of fruit in his diet. So I think I got some good answers here, but Greg, I want to hear if you've got anything to add before we go to me.
No, I don't have anything to add. I wish I knew a little more, but I can't follow everyone.
Does he eat the fruit separate from his meat meals? Or do you know?
I don't think he does. I'm not sure on that.
Altogether.
So Low Carb Carnivore said he's 46, by the way. So here's my thoughts. So he is extremely active, and he had been carnivore for quite a long time. Now, I want you to think back when you were younger. Did you eat a lot of bad stuff and drink a lot of bad stuff? You probably drank soda. If you're in the Midwest, pop. That's what we used to call it. Now that I'm in Virginia, we call it soda. We just drink all kinds of soda and so forth, right? You used to eat all kinds of fruits and just other bad things, right? You ate foods with seed oils in them and so forth. And you were fine for years and years and years, right? It took a long time before anything showed up in blood work or anything. When you look at Paul Saladino, he had been carnivore for quite a while, and he is so active that it's going to take longer for things to show up in his blood work and so forth. And some of it is probably going to be just as he winds down and is not as active.
Or if he starts adding grains or something.
Yeah.
I would really.
And everybody is different. Everybody is different. So I'll put that out there. Some people will show problems earlier than others, and some people longer than others. But the fact's still here, and I'm going back and trying to do as much of a Bart K impersonation here as I can. He's not eating the way he should, and it's eventually going to catch up to him. It might be fine now, just like it was fine for us when we were younger and we were more active and so forth. We didn't have problems. It used to be that I never had high blood pressure or anything, and my blood levels were good, but I was eating horribly. I was eating pizza. Matter of fact, when I lived on my own, just a year or two out of high school, I got an apartment on my own. And most of the time I ate things like simple stuff. So it was like mashed potatoes, hot dogs, which I guess isn't necessarily that bad, but that's debatable, I guess. But anyway, stuff like that. Pizza a lot, like pizza quite often because I didn't have to make it. I just ordered it. And I used to drink a lot of beer and so forth. And my blood levels were fine for years. So it's the same concept here. He's very active. He's coming from carnivore where he probably was doing great. And it's going to probably take years before he's going to start seeing things in his blood levels. Now he's 46 right now. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe it depends too on how active he is. But when he's, let's say 76, is he going to really be paying for it? Is he going to be in a lot of pain and have different health issues because of it? I guess I don't know. That's my theory that it could happen to him because of how he's eating. But we won't know. We have to see. But that's what I think is probably going to happen. And it's funny because Bart K and I have had this conversation before about this going back, I don't know, a few weeks ago or a month ago or something like that. That really, really is something that, it goes against science when you look at science. Eating a high fat and a high carb sugar content, which I know he's not eating other carbs, but he's eating a lot of fruit. So that's a high carb, high sugar content. Eating both of those things, it goes against what we know scientifically, and it doesn't look like it's a good thing. So we'll have to see. All right.
I would throw this in there. We don't know. I mean, I could start eating sugar today. It's not going to show up in my labs for some time, and he's in great shape. He's great shape metabolically. He's great shape physically. He's very active. He's consuming this stuff. Okay. And maybe he can, but I think in the long term, I think we'll see that he'll see the long-term effects of sugar in his diet, and he will be seeing it, the same way that all the rest of us learned it, from the long-term effects of eating. Because I mean, you go back 20 years ago, we didn't have bad labs. I didn't have bad labs until really until the last 8 years. So there's a time frame there, and he is doing his thing, and I give him all the credit for it. He's a great thing. And like I said, I think you can add back in some fruit and stuff, but how much fruit you can eat and how long you can consume heavy loads of sugar, I don't think it'll last. I think you'll see it in the end that it'll end up, affecting him, and he'll end up changing his direction again as it, as it starts to add up. But, we don't know him. We don't know his story. We really can't speak against him. But I will throw this in. He's got some really crazy ideas. You guys know he created a liver shake, a sweet with sugar, liver shake that he got some. Yeah. Think about that. It's just disgusting just to think about it. But he got some.
And I like liver.
He got some restaurant,
not in a liquid form.
Some place in Los Angeles was actually serving these things as a health thing. Here, come get your liver shake with sugar in it. So, I don't know. He's got some crazy ideas. I'm not arguing against him. He can do his thing, and we'll do ours, and we'll see what happens in the wash, right?
I'd have to say, I had my 6-month relapse full of everything bad. And yeah, my A1C did not increase, but 0.1%, So it would take a while for it to show back up, probably, if you're as fit as he is, right? And active.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how long he's been back on the fruits. I don't follow him enough to speak anything against him other than some of the crazy things I've seen him do. So, To each his own. Let him do it, and we'll see how it works out for him.
All right, I'm going to catch us up on
Any
a couple of
questions?
quick comments, and then we've got our next guest I got to bring in. So, all right, this one here from Carnivore Soldier. Yeah, let's see Paul's blood work after he is 57 and had injuries that prevent him from exercising for an extended period of time. And this one from Low Carb Carnivore. I think the difference between Paul and most of us is he is metabolically healthy and we are not. Carnivore Soldier says, I was in great shape as a soldier until I hit 50. Oh, and I missed this earlier. Nice shirt, Carnivore Backwoods. There you go. All right. Now there is another
100%
question
carnivore,
in
baby.
here.
100% carnivore.
There's another question, but before we go to the question, I'm going to bring in our next guest.
I was going to say,
Here
I'm going
we
to give you a
go.
game update. San Francisco just scored a couple
They
minutes
did.
ago. It is 17-3 with 32 seconds left in the second
In the
quarter.
First
For
half.
those
All
of you
right.
listening to the game or can't hear
All
it.
right.
Hey, Todd.
Howdy. How you guys
So
doing?
we've got Todd here, the Carnivore Cure. Welcome. And
Todd?
Howdy. How you guys doing?
check this out. We're going to change our
Very good.
scroll here. for
Looks like
at
your
the
new
Carnivore
space is
Cure.
coming along there, Todd.
It is. I'm very close.
Yeah.
I just got to put all these sound acoustic tiles up and I'm there.
Awesome.
Great.
Fancy.
All right. So Todd, let's go back to our original topic again. And that is low carb or carnivore success stories. And I know you have a great success story. So why don't you tell us really quickly about that success story? And then we'll go back into some questions and comments that are in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, carnivore changed everything for me. It's been amazing, but yeah, the kind of the cliff notes of it all is I was over 700 pounds. I was stuck in a chair for 2.5 years. I got COVID in end of 2020, was it? 20, maybe it was early 2021. But anyhow, I got COVID. It messed up my heart. I had congestive heart failure. It messed up my lungs real bad, scarred them up. Had to be put on oxygen. It was pretty bleak there for a while. And, but I finally I'd been messing around with keto before I'd caught in COVID, but it was kind of dirty keto. And I kind of fell into the trap with, all the keto processed products that was kind of holding me back and still keeping me in the, on the insulin roller coaster, addicted to carbs and everything. And then I, went basically ketovore on September 28th of 2022. And then I'd whittled that down to full carnivore on January 1st of 2023. Yeah, and then everything changed after that. I just no carb cravings at all. Completely freed me from all the cravings and completely had real bad depression and anxiety and real bad suicidal depression. And that completely cleared up. Anxiety's gone. I was on oxygen 24/7 before, completely off the oxygen. As of today, I'm down to 472. That's been 11 months since the ketovore carnivore, and it's been 8 months since full carnivore. And completely just got everything back on. I had lymphedema, I had reactive airway disease, congestive heart failure. I was on oxygen. I had gum disease and I had gout. I had depression, anxiety. It's all gone, completely mobile, totally have my life back. And just right now, I've been losing about 22 to 30 pounds a month and completely no carb cravings. It's just been simple,
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah, it's amazing, actually.
All right. So I want to bring something up, and I hope it doesn't embarrass you at all or anything, but I don't know.
You can try, but I don't get embarrassed.
I don't know how much people
Hey, we've been
know
talking about
this.
pinworms, so I'm not embarrassed by
There
anything.
you go. So I don't know how many people know about this, but Todd was on on Carrie's 24-hour live stream.
Oh boy.
And Towards the end of the live stream, Todd put out a challenge and also a nice donation. I believe it was a $2,000 donation, and then put out a challenge. And this helped them get over $40,000 in donations in that 24-hour period, getting them closer to their $50,000 goal. So when Todd speaks to you about his transformation, and we've had several conversations in the last several weeks, and Todd will talk about just how great this carnivore diet is and how it saved him, and how he really wants to help other people out there. That is a perfect example. If you are not already subscribed to Todd, you need to go subscribe to him, because he does put out good information, and he really cares about getting this diet out to everybody, getting the word out there about how you should be eating, getting away from, the information that we've been given from so many of these companies that are lying on studies and hiding things in a study if it doesn't work to their advantage and so forth, and deceiving the general public. I just got to say that, Todd, thank you for everything you're doing.
Oh, it's the least I could do, and I gotta correct a few things there. I definitely didn't raise 40,000. No, I did help a little bit at the end there. We got what I did was I did a match bonus on my 30-minute stint there, where I was on for 30 minutes, and I just matched up to 2,500 of the donations that would come in, and that caused a little surge, and there was about 4,000 in donations during that time. So we got a $6,500 bump with my contribution. But yeah, I mean, I've said it before, I take this pretty personal anymore. I want to go to war against the sad diet propaganda, against the drug companies. I'm just tired of it. I really do blame them for killing my dad, killing my brother. My mom's got Parkinson's right now, and there's no reason. I was 600 pounds when I was 14 years old, and I've seen dietitians and doctors for 20 plus years, and all they want to do is put you on drugs, give you the same bad information, and then they wanted to sign me up to get gastric bypass surgery, which my mom had, which now we're fighting because she doesn't have a stomach, she doesn't have a gallbladder, and so it's really hard to get her enough fat and protein in to make the progress we need. They put my dad on. My dad was a diabetic and had heart disease, and they put him on that diet, and just all he did was his medications went from 2 to 4 to 20 bottles of medications by the time he finally passed away. My brother Ty, they prescribed him, he was only 38. They prescribed him, he got just a cold. We were all working down in North Dakota in the oil field, and he got a cold, and he went to the doctor, and they prescribed him the wrong medication. They gave him a steroid, and he had an active cold virus, and it knocked out his immune system. And that cold turned into an infection, spread to his heart, and it ruined his heart. And so he ended up having 13 heart attacks, and it damaged his heart so bad he needed a new one, but it also damaged some of his other organs. And so while he was waiting to get on the heart transplant list, he passed away at 40. And he was really healthy, So I say it all the time, but the main the main system for healing disease in our country is medication, and medication is the third largest cause of death in the United States. So those drugs that they prescribe to everybody is the third leading cause of death, and that's our best advice. That's the best they can do. They don't talk about diet. They don't, like I said, when I was 700 pounds on their prescribed diet, they were perfectly happy with my diet. Now, after I lost 200 pounds, I go in there on carnivore, and now they're worried about my diet. Now they're worried about my health, and, they were just fine putting me on medications, putting me on this, sad American diet plan and prescribing me to have my stomach cut out like my mom, but they have a problem with carnivore. It's absolutely insanity. So yeah, we just got to fight the propaganda. It's clearly just an absolute money making machine. There's no money in healing people. There's just money in treating symptoms, and that's the way they want to keep it. And I'm over that, and I just want to help get all the information out there as possible.
Yeah. You've been doing an awesome job. All right. So we do have a question I'm going to put in here, and I don't know if she was asking this someone in the chat or all of us, but if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. I'm going to go ahead. I'll start with this one. How old are you now? I am 49, and I will say that a few years ago, in my mid 40s, I probably felt like I was in my mid 50s. Just the way I felt older than what I am. Now that I'm 49, I'm going to be 50 in a couple months. I don't feel anything near that anymore. I feel better. I really feel better than I had in probably 15, 20 years or more, really.
Right.
So I'm 49, but I don't feel that I'm that old. So Todd, let's go to you. Do you care to answer this question?
Yep, I'm 40. And kind of funny thing, when I was 18, I got diagnosed with reactive airway disease. And my oxygen saturation was always 88% or less on a good day my whole life. And now just, the last 11 months, my oxygen, and I'm now off oxygen too. My oxygen right now is 96%. I feel better and I'm healthier than I was when I was 18.
That's great. John?
I just turned 49 August the 29th. So I'm one step closer to the big 50, but I got 11 months in counting.
All right. Becky?
I am 60, going to be 61 next month. And, I went to my church's youth camp in August. And when the kids found out I was 60, like they would say, "No way, you look like you're 40. So I took that. I don't know if they know what 40 even looks like, but I ain't nobody's grandma yet. So there you go.
All right. I'm going to catch up on some comments here really quick. Carnivore Soldier had said we
didn't get Greg's age.
He was what? Oh
right.
My gosh. How did I skip Greg? I'm sorry, Greg.
That's okay.
I thought I started with you for some reason. I'm sorry.
I'm 51 years old.
Okay. Maybe I'm actually older than I think because I forgot Greg. Sorry. All right. Now we'll go to some comments. Carnivore Soldier says, I was 240 pounds at 35 when I re-entered the service. When I was 50, I was 255. When I retired at 53, I was 265. I was very active during it all. I got up to 280 pounds last March. Then he goes on, my metabolic health took years to decline. I am 234 pounds now and very healthy.
That's awesome.
I know he just had to leave a few minutes ago, but great job. Oh, and then he finishes it up with, I feel like an athlete again for the first time in decades. So great job.
Yeah, he's my carnivore crush, in case you guys didn't know that. I shouted him out once. And this, when I first started, I was like, and I said something about him, and I'm like, Andy's cute, so that's a thing.
Let me see. Wait a minute. I'm looking. Here we go.
Low Carb Carnivore says Wick had a senior moment. I find that funny.
So Carnivore Soldier had mentioned he was 6'3", and then Becky said 6'3" is my type, Larry. Wink, wink. All right. We've got a couple of new
to move to
people
Texas.
that have joined. Carnivore Trucker, Sean. And Less Junk More Health says hi. So hello to both of you all. So, all right. Let me catch up again here. Yeah, here we go. Low Carb Carnivore. Wick had a senior moment. Yeah, I sure did. I'm 2 months away from 50 moment. And yeah. So here's the funny thing. My youngest daughter, for years now, that I guess, well, she's 18 years old, so probably I'd say at least for like the last 12, 13 years or so. On my birthday, I get a card from her that she writes in it, your whatever to half 100. So like you're 5 years away from half 100 or whatever. Last year was you're 1 year away from half 100. So it's going to be interesting here in a couple months. It's going to be you're half 100 now, but then what's it going to be the next year? Is it going to be
What you
you're
gonna do
49
next
years
year?
away from 100? I don't know. That's going to be the interesting thing. I'm going to have to report back on what happens there.
How many kids do you all have?
I have 0.
That's
I have a
kids.
dog.
Got a dog. Okay.
Well, that counts. That counts.
They take
I
a
have
lot of
5.
work. Care. 5.
Everybody got silent. Yeah, I have 5 kids. They range from 17 to 28, I guess now. 17 to 28, 28, 27.
I've got 3.
I've
24
got 3.
to 34.
I was gonna say I've got 3 as well.
I've got 3. My youngest is 18. She's a freshman at Coastal Carolina. I got the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers shirt on. They're playing tonight. Have no idea if they're winning, but they're playing against Georgia State tonight. And then I have twins, boy-girl twins that are 20. So yeah, I got 3. So I think we hit everybody, right? I didn't miss anybody. No senior moments. That's
You got a former
okay,
fat
good.
girl in here.
Yes, Nicole says, "Whoa, you're
Nicole.
live." Hey, Nicole. And Angelus Mack says, "Hello."
Howdy.
I got an update on the Coastal Carolina game for you if you'd like.
Uh-oh, okay. I don't know if I wanted to hear
20
about
to 10 by
Internet?
Georgia Southern.
Georgia
is
State.
it?
Georgia State, I think it is.
Georgia State?
Yeah.
It's 20 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Third
definitely
quarter.
not the Georgia Bulldogs that have won the national championship 2
No.
years in a row. This is a completely different team. And they're losing to them, so that's not good. All right. So Tam says I'm 50 something. I am 50 something forever. And Nicole, I am 40 something. All
My
right.
dad
So
says you can say you're pert near. Like I can say I'm pert near 60 next year, the year after, probably the year after that, pert near, like close to.
all right. So I think I'm caught up on questions and comments. I don't know if we gave this update, but the NFL game is at halftime. The 49ers are winning 17-6. So interesting game so far. Maybe even a little closer than I thought it was going to be, but 49ers are winning. So let's go back to our main topic of success stories. And we each have kind of given our success stories here. And you know what? We got a question. Let's just go to the question, and I'll go back to the success stories. Less Junk More Health says, "How strict are you all with carnivores?" So, Todd, let's start with you.
I do the BBB&E thing, and that wasn't like a plan. I actually just was doing elimination things, and the better I felt, that was just kind of what I settled on. So, yeah, I just slowly got rid of, first all the spices. I got rid of the dairy, and I just basically ended up at BBB&E, and that's been that way pretty much since. Yeah, January, probably mid-January of 2023. So I guess that's kind of, strict, but I don't feel that way. I mean, it's easy. It's so simple and easy,
All right, John.
Well, I guess it all depends on what your definition of strict carnivore is. Some people's definition is a lot stricter than my particular view. I keep my carbs below 5 grams a day. So if I get some jerky or something that's got some carbs in it or something, I won't go anything more than 5 carbs a day. I do put heavy whipping cream in my coffee, and I drink coffee every morning. And there's some people that say that that's not carnivore. So, If your definition is that you can't drink coffee, then I'm not strict. But that's the only extent outside of animal base that I ever go. I drink bottles of water all day long. This is probably my 6th or 7th bottle of water today. I don't drink any other type of sweeteners. I don't have anything else other than coffee in the morning, water all day long, and I try to stick to beef, bacon, butter, eggs, and I will throw in, like tonight we had pork chops, and we may have some fish or shrimp, but it's always animal based.
All right, Becky.
So I am technically ketovore, and I define that as 10 grams of carbs or less per day. But I have really tightened what I'm eating right now. So I don't do dairy, and I gave up Diet Coke. I've never been a coffee drinker, so Diet Coke was my caffeine delivery system. So when I say 10 grams of carbs, that is going to be for me just from maybe some onions, some salsa, some avocado, cucumber, something like that. Nothing really sweet. Like I don't eat anything sweet unless, okay, I do use a protein powder. So that does, I think, have a little stevia in it, but it is not particularly sweet. So not very, I cannot buy Carnivore Soldier's shirt, which I want to because it's really cool, but I would be a liar. So
to be fair, I traded shirts with him. He's got one of mine. I got one of his. So I didn't buy it. But
well,
I am Ken Berry carnivore. I'll go with that. I'm on the Ken Berry carnivore diet.
I'm Nisha Berry. She did a video about how she decided not to say she's carnivore anymore because she gets too much heat for it. So,
all right, Greg, how about you?
Well, since I've only been on carnivore roughly 10 days, most of you probably know I lost the bulk of my weight doing keto, basically ketovore, low carb diet. And just after 10 days, I would say I'm pretty strict. I'm probably less than 2 grams of carbs a day. And that's just in the drink that I have. Other than that, I would say I'm pretty strict right now, and I plan to continue to be that way just for the fact that, I'm just going good on carnivore, and, I had a pretty good weight loss the first week, and I want to lose a few pounds this week as well. So.
All right. So for me, I like to be strict carnivore, but that doesn't always happen. I'm probably legendary for my mistakes and my eating bad here and there. Not like I do it a lot, but it seems like every time I'm in a live stream with somebody and they ask like, how's the diet going? It's like, well, this one time this thing happened. So I guess the point is that I do struggle still with cravings, and I will be fine. And then there's just one little thing that I might eat one little thing that I shouldn't, and the craving just comes right back. So I have those problems, and I want to be able to say that I am very strict carnivore, but I in my heart, I know that I should not eat any carbs, but I still do it sometimes. I try and stay away from the bad stuff. So we're talking like stuff that has sugars and seed oils. Those really are the ones that I think are the worst for you. I try to stay away from them as much as possible, but I'll give an example. Just a few days ago, I had some roast, and I made a little bit of rice that I had in with it. Shouldn't have done it. I did. And actually there is more sugar, or carb, I should say, more carb in rice than you think. I looked at the nutrition label. I was like, great, I'm not going to eat half of this now. So that's me. And yeah.
So
let me catch us up. Yes.
How many carbs did you eat before? Do you know?
in the
Back in the
standard
day.
American diet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was
I mean, let's
so
put this in
much
How many
work.
packages in a Nutter Butter package? Ugh. Could eat the whole thing.
Literally, and this is why I was as big as I was, but there were times like Oreo cookies packages, I could literally eat the entire thing in like a day of Oreos myself.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially the
I
vanilla ones. Those are my favorite.
I go to fast food and eat the French fries and drink soda and just I can't even imagine how many carbs I used to eat before. It
Yeah.
had to
I
been
mean, I don't
horrible.
think any of us have actually sat down and tried to come up with a number, but I guarantee you the number will be astronomical. So when I say that I eat no more than 5 carbs, or you say you eat no more than 2 carbs, or we are talking about really, really strict compared to
Big
where we used
changes.
to be.
Mm-hmm.
So and the
I would
fact of
get
the matter
done
is
with the
there's even
Oreos and
there's a little bit of carbs in meat. So there's no such thing as a no carb diet. You're going to have some carbs.
yeah,
at
eggs
some
have
point.
carbs in them.
Yeah, eggs have some carbs in them. I mean, there's some carbs out there.
Cream
You
has
know,
some.
but if you're keeping your diet under 10 carbs a day, you're really strict on restricting carbs out of your diet. Are you a strict carnivore? That's up for debate on who you ask. You know, everybody's got their own opinion on how strict you got to be on this diet. I say as long as you're doing well and you're losing weight. That's why people like, aren't you going to stop the coffee? Why? I'm doing well and I'm losing weight. I feel
Yeah, I
wonderful.
mean,
My health is good. At some point, if that changes, I'll reconsider. But I see no point in changing right now. I like my coffee. I don't put any sugar in it. And I put some cream in it. And that's my morning ritual. I like that warm cup of coffee in the morning. It's not
yeah, I
even really
mean,
about the caffeine for me. I like that morning ritual, sitting there relaxed, drinking a nice warm cup of coffee.
yeah, I mean, I think when I eat eggs, I get 15 grams of carbs because I eat 24 eggs at a time because I do OMAD. And so when I'm eating eggs, I think I get 15 grams of carbs just in the eggs. But I mean, that's why I don't really like I kind of agree in a lot of ways. I sometimes get annoyed how, everybody's got their idea what carnivore is, and then it kind of creates this division, because everybody gets upset about, well, it's got to be, they look for these markers or something to just gauge everything on, and if you go past that, then that throws you out of this click or something. And to me, it's just like, how about just what makes you feel best? I really think truth and meaning is all that matters. Is it making results? Is it making you feel better? Are you losing weight? Are you better off because of it? I think
The power of this diet is the simplicity.
totally.
It is literally simple. Stop trying to make it complicated. Cut your sugars, cut your fake fats, eat animal based, and you will thrive. It's as simple as that. Everybody wants to complicate it. What's your macros? How much fat are you getting? How much of this are you getting? What are you doing here? If you eat that, you're not carnivore. Kip got attacked because he was eating shrimp. They're like, well, that's not carnivore. Last I checked, shrimp's an animal based. These are silly things that people get in their heads, and if you followed my channel for a while, this one gets me going. Is that, you don't have to make it complicated. Keep it simple. The KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, and just follow it. Beef, bacon, butter, eggs, and if you need a little bit of this or that to make your day work, then do it.
Totally. Yeah. I didn't actually follow a diet plan when I landed where I'm at now. I just was eliminating things that were not making me feel, if I took it out and I felt better, I had more energy, it was more effective, then I left it out, and that's what got me to here. But I'm not following a plan and or somebody's regimen, and I'm not doing it because wanting to stay within this guideline or something. This is just what I found that works for me. But on the flip side, when you guys were talking about Paul, my brother, he's got to have some fruit, and it's crazy. And I mean, he's got the most willpower of anybody I've ever seen, but he doesn't have a weight problem. He doesn't have an insulin resistance problem, and he's very lean, and he works like a heart attack all day long. And just because of, I think, his low body fat and his high, output every day, it helps him to have some carbs every day. And, I know that he's telling me the truth, and I know it has nothing to do with him having a carb craving that he's trying to fixate on. It actually is he said, he's like, I got to be able to work all day. And he goes, I don't have that energy. I don't have that explosive energy. So me and him are just metabolically different. I was on this way further side, and who am I to tell him that he shouldn't be feeling good every day, because it's working, and he's healthy, he's skinny, he's lean. He's got crazy out, he's 11 years older than me, and he can outwork most guys 20 years old under the table. But the carnivore lifestyle has been huge because he got diagnosed with MS, and he had spinal stenosis and MS, and the carnivore diet completely turned all that around, and he's thriving, but he needs a little bit of fruit. He needs those carbs to be able to have that output every day. And me and him are just different, but he's never been a big, he's never had a weight problem, he's never been that addicted to sugar like I was, so he's got a different thing. And I think, I can't do fruit because I'm a sugar addict, and it would wreck my, my whole, mindset right now, and it give me the cravings back, and it's just not a benefit to me. But for him, it's just not a problem. So I don't really know what the answer there is, but I'm sure not going to fault him for it,
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to catch us up on a few quick things in chat. Limitless Lindy is here. Actually, she posted this about 10 minutes ago. Sorry we're late, but good morning.
Hi, Lindy.
Hi, Lindy.
Howdy, howdy.
That's an amazing story right there.
She's amazing.
Little Peachy.
100 pounds a month. That was crazy. It's amazing.
That's the carbohydrate portion of her, like people don't think about that word has the word hydrate in it, it's like all about retaining fluid.
Yeah, it's like, what is it, 6 molecules of water per molecule of carb or glycogen.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know the science, but yeah.
Peachy Pam in Maryland says hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Nicole had already said hello, but now she's saying go Eagles. Big Philadelphia Eagles fan. So put that out there. So I think I caught us back up for the most part. Oh, here we go. We're just talking about Limitless Lindy. It was mostly water weight, edema, inflammation, but still a win.
I know how that goes. When I was at my peak there,
like that. Yeah.
At my peak there at, when I was way over 700 pounds, I think I got 150 pounds of fluid off in, I don't know, first couple of months. It was crazy.
Yeah. All right. So I got us caught up in the chat. So I'm going to go back to what I was going to go with then. So our original topic, success stories, and we talked a lot about the different successes. And I'm going to just go around to everybody here and just like a quick answer, I guess is what I'm looking for. Give me your number one success that was not weight loss. So I'm going to start with you, Todd.
I think the number one victory is kind of a package deal, but it is the fact that for 20 plus years, excuse me, every diet that I'd been on was just a ton of stress, and you would go to bed hungry every night, and you would just pray that you wouldn't fall off the wagon the next day. It was always this hammer that was going to fall, and it was going to fail, and it was just always there. You were relying 110%. In my case, I was always relying 110% on willpower, fighting hunger, fighting depression, fighting all that stuff. Now the biggest win out of all of it is that's all gone, and I wake up and I don't worry one bit. I have no even slight worry that I'm going to fall off of this diet, because it's not even a diet. It's just the way it is now, but it cured everything. That's why I picked this name for my channel, because I really do believe that it's not a fad diet. It is the cure, and I am completely cured from, I don't have to go to bed hungry. I don't have to worry about falling off the wagon. I don't have to worry about temptations or addictions. It's completely gone, and that's the biggest win to me.
All right. That's a great win. John.
I'm having internet bumps out here. Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
All right. So your number one success story that was not weight loss, so some sort of non-scale type of success that you've had.
Number one, it would have to be my blood sugar, my diabetes, so if you back it up here, I've been dealing with this, I don't know, probably, well, I mean, you can go back 20 years when they first started diagnosing me with high blood pressure. They started saying, your sugars are high, but they're okay, but they're high, and you start getting that conversation with the doctor. You fast forward 10 years, I moved to Tennessee, and that was the first thing the doctor was like, well, your blood sugars are, they're right there borderline. You're starting to get high. Don't really explain to you, a lot of detail about this. So you start going down this road. And then one day you go into the doctor and he's like, well, your blood sugar has reached this magical number. Welcome to diabetes. That's literally how he presented it to me. Welcome to diabetes. Now this is what you're going to do. And he started prescribing metformin. And he literally, he freaked the crap out of me. I thought, by the way, his term and the way he presented it, I thought it was dying, and the whole blood, taking your blood, checking your blood, doing all the things that come along with it. And ultimately I ended up changing doctors because it just, it was just crazy. I had to go find somebody that he was just too over the top. It was like, that was on his sign. He was a, diabetic doctor. And so it's like everybody he got there had to reach that level. That was his specialty. So everybody that was going through there at some point was going to reach that level. And then he was all like, almost like excited about it. That, here you are. Now we can start dealing with this. No, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to be a diabetic. And so, I struggled with that for a long time. And I was ornery at first and didn't want to take my medications. And, of course, my wife's nurse, and, she'll give me that look. And, I've begrudgingly been taking, the medication up until recently. So finding this diet and getting, losing the weight, losing the sugar, getting my A1C down and being able to come off of metformin, that is a huge personal victory for me, because I don't like taking any type of medication. I don't even like taking your over-the-counter medication. I don't, I'm the type of person, if I get sick, I just want to get well. I don't want to have to take a medicine to get well. I want my body to heal itself and get well. So taking medication has always been against my grain. So I'm extremely happy to be off of metformin, which that stuff's horrible. I don't know if any of you guys have ever taken it, what it tears you up. Over a long term, you start feeling a little bit better. But at first, man, the stomach, it just feels like somebody's kicked you, right square in the stomach, and it just stays that way. So that would be my number one. Diabetes, off medication, and being off my blood pressure medication, that's huge. I was convinced that high blood pressure was just something that you got from being old. And now I've quickly realized that high blood pressure has nothing to do with being old. It has everything to do with what we're consuming in our diet. And by consuming this diet, I've dramatically turned my high blood pressure around. And I'm more than confident by the time I hit the 1 year mark, I'll be completely off of all my medications. And that'll be a huge victory for me. So that's where I'm at.
All right. Before I go to Becky, we have a quick question for you, John. I'm missing what is on your shirt. Can you let Tam know what your shirt says?
Yeah, so the shirt, let's see if I can, sorry, I gotta move my chair here. This is Carnivore Soldier's shirt. It says 100% carnivore, Resilient Warrior. So you can get these from Carnivore Soldier's YouTube channel. And here, I'll show you mine. Hold on a second. This is my shirt. It says, carnivore diet, stay wild. And I have a variation of this. It says carnivore life, stay wild.
That's on my wish list.
All right. All right. So, Becky, let's go over to you now. Non-scale thing. One, your best.
Number one, I do not struggle with depression or anxiety anymore. And I am able to do things because of that I've always wanted to do. I've always worked full-time, but now I can work full-time, help with my youth group, help in the nursery at church, run a women's Bible study, and start my YouTube channel and go out for hikes. My life has absolutely changed. And it's it's not because of much else. I mean, my faith and my diet. That's what has changed.
All right. So, Greg, your turn.
Oh, the number one thing I would say since January, I thought I was going to be disabled the rest of my life. And this has changed everything for me. I have a lot less pain. I'm happier. I've lost 92 pounds in 8 months. It's totally changed my world, and the sky's the limit as far as going forward and what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And helping others is something I want to do and just make a difference for others. Because, if I can do this plan, anybody can. And, that's my non-scale victory. I have my life back.
That is great. All right. For me, there's a few things that are really up there, but I'm going to go with the AFib thing. I know I talk about this a lot, but this is huge for me. So, again, I was having a lot of AFib episodes, probably a couple a week. And I was at the point with the cardiologist that we were looking at, potentially doing an ablation where they go in and they freeze the spots on your heart that the electrical signals are getting mixed up. And one of the risks with that is if one of the spots that is having that problem is the part that does your beating, then you'd have to get a pacemaker. So for me, going to carnivore and not having another episode has been life-changing for me. No longer are we talking about the ablation, and we're talking about I've been on a blood thinner because of AFib, and we're talking about potentially taking me off of that blood thinner. I don't know if I've lost enough weight yet, but that was kind of the last step. Like, okay, you haven't had any episodes, but let's see if you have lost enough weight to where the risk of stroke is low enough, and the risk of going into an AFib episode is low enough. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But that for me, that's got to be number one. And I don't hear a lot of people in this community talking about AFib, probably because a lot of people don't have it. But there are people out there that do have AFib. And so I try and talk about it just because I want to get the word out there for the people that do have it and know that, potentially going low carb or even completely no carb could help your AFib issue. And that could be, completely life-changing for somebody.
Yeah, I can confirm that. When my mom was in AFib for 73 days, and they were scheduling her for, this was when she was like 76 years old. They're scheduling her for surgery for a pacemaker. And I was like, man, maybe you should give this a shot. And I looked up, I know Dr. Berg takes some heat, but I kind of like that guy. And I looked up his video on it, and we put her on carnivore, and she took vitamin B, nutritional yeast, ox bile, and bile salts because she didn't have a gallbladder. Anyhow, long story short, within 3 days, she went out of AFib for the first time in like 76 days. It was crazy. Yeah, but she never had to get the pacemaker. That's been, I don't know, almost a year or something.
That's great.
Yeah, so it was funny. How long did it take you to get out of AFib, or were you always in AFib? Or
so for me, most of the time, just having medication, a beta blocker was enough to get me out. A couple of times I had to go into the hospital, and they gave me stronger medication through an IV that got rid of it. One time, I couldn't seem to get out of it, and they actually shocked me back into normal rhythm. But that worked to get me back into normal rhythm. So I didn't have quite to the degree of what some people have, where they're just constantly living with it.
were you taking any electrolytes for that at the time, or?
So originally, no. And my cardiologist put me on a potassium and then over-the-counter magnesium. And I started that about 7 months before doing carnivore. It didn't seem to make a difference. If anything, I was getting worse. So I don't think that magnesium or potassium was an issue for me. I can say that more recently I had an issue where I got dehydrated and my electrolytes kind of got out of balance, and I noticed skipped heartbeats. So I didn't go into AFib, but I had skipped heartbeats, and I took a little bit of salt with water, and that helped it some. And then when I took like an electrolyte drink mix, that seemed to get me out of that issue, and so the skipped heartbeats went away.
Yeah,
So I did see that from electrolyte imbalance once.
I almost think when we get on carnivore, I think it does heal our gut microbiome, and I think that actually helps us process the electrolytes quite a bit better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna put this on the screen real quick. Quick plug here for Carnivore Backwoods. This is all of your shirts, or just the one shirt that you were talking about?
This takes you to my store. This is the Carnivore Life Stay Wild. So it's the same shirt with the wolf on it, except for saying diet, it says Carnivore Life, which seems to resonate better with some people. So I've sold a bunch of those recently.
Yep. And then from there you can, and then look
I
around
got
and see his other.
And, I've made a few other things. I got a couple other shirt designs on there. I just did a whole new shirt design that seems to be popular too. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see if I can find it here.
So Greg, you got an update on
Brian,
the game?
Don't you have some t-shirt designs that you just did too?
I do. Greg, why don't you give us a quick update on the game? I don't know if San Francisco scored or not, but
yeah, it's San Francisco 17, New York Giants 12 with 4:58 left to go in the third. So it's a little tighter game than I thought it would be, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
That's like the second sack of him. Okay.
Okay, so let me bring up.
You mind if I do something real quick?
Yep, I did just start selling shirts, but go ahead.
Let me try something here and see if this works. That working? That's my new t-shirt design. That says Carnivore Life, and then down here it says,
I need that.
It says feeding my inner beast one steak at a time.
Love it. I need it.
So that's my new design. And then Brian's got some cool shirts too. You guys should check those out.
Right. So I will put out here. And let's see. So let's see if I can actually share this. I don't know. This could be scary. Let's see what I do.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Everybody, make sure you hit the like button, hit the
Yeah,
subscribe
thanks
button.
everybody.
Give all these channels some love.
Thanks for inviting me on.
So here you go. Here's some of what I have out there. I got the Carnivore Strong shirt design that I just did. There's actually, can I go into let me see. There are aprons, mugs somewhere, I believe, in here. I thought maybe. Oh, products. I thought there were some mugs in here too, but maybe there's not. But then there's a few different ones. I got Carnivore for Life, 100% carnivore with the bowl, and then also with your wolf. So I got a few different things out here. I actually like this most recent one the best, this Carnivore Strong one. So
That's nice.
so
Do these
that is
shops
up
give you the
online.
options for like V-neck for women? Because
Yeah,
I see a lot of scoop necks, and I prefer V-neck.
You know,
Looking
I
for
don't
Becky,
V-necks.
know.
I will create you a V-neck shirt and have it posted. Which design do you like best, though?
Carnivore Life
The Carnivore Life with the wolf or
with the wolf.
Stay Wild?
Yeah, Stay Wild.
I will put one up there for you.
Thank you. I'll
Sweet,
order.
there you go. All
San
right.
Francisco just kicked a field goal.
So we're at 20-12, late third quarter. Okay.
These shirts are considered unisex, you know, the ones that we use most of the time, but I will put up a female shirt with a V-neck with the design on it. I'll put that up for you, or anybody else that wants it for that matter. And then I'll shoot actually, I'm going to give everybody a discount code for being in the Facebook group here tonight. Let me find my Facebook code or my savings promo code. Hold on a sec. I'll find it. Go ahead and talk, guys. I'm sorry.
All right. So we're caught up on comments. So if there's anybody out there that wants to chat, ask us any questions or talk about your own success stories, go ahead and put stuff in the chat for us. Also, looks like altogether over all the channels, we've been up around 20 or so people watching. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing if you like the content. So, there's 5 of us on, and you might not be subscribed to all 5 of us, but we all have probably something different that you could relate to. So make sure that you check out all of us. And if I actually go out of here, you can see all of our, except for mine, but mine is at Wicavore instead of Wicco's Carnivore, but everybody else has got their at the Carnivore Cure here for Todd, at Carnivore Backwoods for John. Becky is at Keto Vogorian. Did I say it right? Close enough.
Oregonian.
Oregonian.
It's an Oregonian. Is what like in Oregon they refer to themselves as Oregonians, and she's saying keto Oregonian. So it's keto Oregonian. Yeah. Keto. I've done this. I've said it right, Becky.
Yeah, you can say it, John. You can do it.
Keto it's a tongue.
That's all I
Oregon. Or no.
Thank you very much. I sure appreciate it.
I'll get it. Give me a minute. But
just don't say Oregon, people. No Oregon.
Yeah.
No
tongue twister.
Oregon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's, and maybe someday I'll change it to Carnivore again, Oregonian, and I won't even be able to say it. So Carnivore Oregonian.
So one hope for all subbed Carnivore Cure. So
thank you very much. That's awesome.
Thank you. And
you spelled it wrong.
Huh?
Tam spelled Oregon wrong.
And then
Here's
some
his discount
comments in
code, by
there
the way.
about shirts. I will throw up some female shirts that are both V-neck and round neck. I've seen all the comments in there. I will get on that. Here's the deal,
Thanks,
and I'll throw
Tom.
this out while Brian's working there. Tomorrow, I'm headed to South Carolina for the meetup with Intentional Carnivore, Kip, Carnivore Quest. And so I'm going to be on the road tomorrow. And then, of course, this is me and my wife's 24th anniversary. It's technically next week, but we're going to celebrate it this weekend. I have rented a Airbnb cabin in the North Carolina woods that we're going to spend a quiet weekend together. And just shut off the rest of the world and the internet and stuff. So if I don't get it up this here tonight or tomorrow sometime, I'll have it up first thing next week.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm
Hey,
working
Brian, I'm
on
gonna
a
give you a
brand
quick-
design.
Brian, I'll give you a quick update on your Coastal Carolina. They're getting beat 27-10 with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Oh, that's not
Boy.
sounding very good for them. All right. I'm working on somebody asked for all the channels links, so I'm working on putting that together. So if you guys want to keep the conversation going while I do that, that'd be great.
We're not doing a very good job.
Well, everybody talking what?
Uh,
I was gonna say I'm doing a
Thanks,
live
guys.
interview with Todd on Monday night at what was that 7:00 Central Standard Time, if I
I
remember
believe
right.
so. I believe
Yep,
so. Yeah.
so we'll be getting together for a live on Monday night. So that'll be fun to touch base for sure.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. Yeah, maybe I've been waiting to tell a story about how I got banned from Six Flags in all the Six Flags in the United States over a over a dispute over funnel cake. It's
Really?
oh yeah, save that one. That's good.
yeah. I feel like that'll be my
I
family
wanna
loves
hear
that
that one.
story.
That sounds like a good story. I'm gonna
Okay.
go on a hike this weekend to Sweet Creek Falls, and I'm gonna video some of that and talk. So
Okay, that
What part
looks
of
really
Oregon are you in,
horrible the way
Becky?
that worked.
what part of Oregon?
Yeah.
Eugene, the South Willamette Valley.
So I had some friends that lived up in Bandon by the Bay,
Oh yeah.
Bandon, Oregon. They're right there on the coast. We used to
Yep.
go up there. We go deep sea fishing and crabbing and stuff. That was always fun.
I lived in Coos Bay for 5 years, just north of there,
Yeah,
where the big
Yeah.
port is. Yeah.
we've been all through there. Me and the wife took a trip all the way up California through Oregon, going to all the lighthouses, and so
Aw, yeah. The closest lighthouse to me is Heceta Head. It's very pretty,
there.
and there's a beautiful. The lighthouse keeper's house is still there, and it's a bed and breakfast type thing.
Oh, is it really? That's cool.
Yeah, but you can also take a tour of the downstairs, so it's very cool.
All right, so I put all of them in the chat, but if you're on other people's channels, I don't know that you can see it, so I'm going to put them into the screen here. So here's Carnivore Backwoods. And afterwards, by the way, I will make sure that they are all in the description. Well, that'll be off of my channel. Everybody else has to make sure it's in their description.
I'll
So,
do
yeah.
that too.
Yeah, if you can put them all in the description, that'd be great. That way everybody can then see them. Here's Greg's at My Weight Loss Life. Here is Todd's at Carnivore Cure.
Should be at the
actually,
Carnivore
yeah.
Cure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Geez. Yeah. Good catch.
That is
My
my
question
Twitter handle, actually.
is it:
They
Do you
didn't
has
Uh,
has
Sorry,
Judy
Carnivore.
Cho ever reached out to you? That's the name of her book, The Carnivore Cure.
No, and you know, people have told me that, and I never had heard of that book when
Never
I picked
heard
it.
of her?
No, and the thing was, I just literally went on YouTube, and when I was setting on my YouTube channel, and I entered the carnivore cure, and it said it was available, and I was like, oh, okay, great.
Her channel's Nutrition with Judy. Yeah.
I got you. I should try to say sorry. I really wasn't trying to steal it.
You didn't know?
No, I had no idea.
Somebody's interviewing her. I just saw. She's super smart, like over my head smart.
I'll have to look her up. A lot of people have told me about it, and I was like, I had no idea, actually. I was surprised that it was available when I typed it into YouTube, and then I typed it into Instagram and it was available, and I typed it into TikTok and it was available. So, and then my Twitter, it only takes 15 characters, so it's just carnivore cure on TikTok or on Twitter. But yeah, I was surprised it was available, and then I was not surprised to find out that somebody had wrote a book, though. I was like, well, I thought that was
that book is really techie, from what I understand. Really sciencey. But she has, I think she's writing a book that's more of a lay person's book right now.
One Hope for All, sub to Carnivore Backwoods. So thank you. That's John's channel. Thank you for doing that. So all the channels are now linked in the chat here, at least. And hopefully we'll be able to put it all in our description so that everybody can see them as well after the fact.
I appreciate that, bud.
Yep.
All right.
So
let me check. Did I miss anything?
What's everybody working on this week? What type of things? What type of videos you got planned? What are you thinking about putting out?
Man, I'm just so I'm way behind on putting videos out, but I got a long list of them, and I haven't put a video out in 3 weeks because I was moving areas where I make videos, and I just finally got back in here, but I got a long list, and I am going to try to cram out some this weekend. But mainly for me, it was, I got a guy that's in Canada that's starting carnivore, and I told him I'd make him some videos on how I got started anyhow, to kind of give him the first steps. So I made one, and I got to make him a couple more because he's going to start on Monday, But then after that, I want to start tackling, just, man, I'm so surprised how much it helped me when my mind changed, when I started getting exposed to the truth about, my whole life, I just thought that, I didn't have the willpower other people had. I was just weaker than other people. And every time I'd fail, it was, it just hits you hard and it just takes all your hope away, because every time you fail, you just think you're never going to get it, And when I finally started realizing, the system's kind of built against us on purpose, and it's built to beat us down and keep us on this insulin roller coaster, on these processed foods and on these drugs. And so we are fighting we're fighting a pretty good pressure against us, an opposing force. And so it helped me a lot when I woke up to that, because then I just stopped. It gave me a lot more hope to understand, the knowledge and the information gave me a lot more hope to really understand what was going on. And it got rid of all that beating yourself up, and so you could focus on finding your right path and, just getting healthy. And I want to kind of focus on that, because there's quite a few things that woke me up that really changed my mind and my view on that.
That's outstanding. Content's hard. And I got videos. I got all kinds of videos that I've thought to myself, I got to do this, and I've created notes. I'm trying to get them cranked out, but sometimes you struggle at it. I got an interview that I did with this lady that was absolutely great interview, and I need to finish editing it. So that's going to be on the top of my list for next week, is to get that interview edited and posted. Early next week. I got to get that done. What are you working on, Greg? Oh, we lost Greg.
Well,
he's got to go work on it right now.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I got a video I got to go do.
So
Becky, what are you thinking? What are you working on?
Real quick before we go to Becky, so One Hope for All was asking about where the links were at, and she's on the Carnivore Cures channel. So
Oh,
I don't know,
okay.
Todd, can you just pull from what's in
You
our
can
chat?
copy and paste.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just paste them
so
back in, and then they'll show up on your channel too. That way she'll see them.
okay, so I'm going to show my ignorance here. So last night was first night I tried to link. I think that obviously this is playing on my channel. The other night when I was on live,
I think she moved channel, or he moved channel. I'm not. One
So-
Hope for All moved.
Oh,
Said I'm
she's here
Okay,
now.
I'm here now.
oh, okay, yeah, because I was gonna say I don't
moved
know. I'm not sure because
Oh,
what just for my own information, how would I go about doing that? Do I have to go to my own channel and type in the comments there?
Yeah, no, so you would just have to do it right here under comments
Oh,
here in
okay.
StreamYard.
Okay,
So
then
what
I'll do
happens
that.
is when
And
we're
it goes
using
to yours.
StreamYard and we have multiple channels going, and let's say I post something, it only goes to my channel, or like I have a Facebook and a YouTube thing going on right now. So it goes to both of those, but it doesn't go to everybody else's. So for somebody to see it on your channel, for instance, you would have to post it as well if they're just on
Okay.
your channel.
All right, so I copy it and I put it in right here in StreamYard, but it'll go to my channel. Okay. I am way new at this. I think my channel's 4.5 weeks old.
Oops. Here we go. All right. So she's there.
She corrected me and said I'm a she. Sorry.
Oops.
Oh, I missed that. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. Greg is back. His internet crashed though. All right. So we went to Becky on the question. I'm sorry. What you got going on this
Yeah.
week?
So I am going to do my weekly check-in on a hike. That's what I'm doing to Saturday. And then I also want to just kind of recap this interview I saw with Dr. Westman and Dr. Tarman about food addiction. And I love that she talked about how they're not in the realm, like doctors will say, oh, you can't be addicted to food. And so they're trying to get a term together that will really, really speak to what the addiction really is. And right now they're probably settling on processed food addiction, And I remembered in the Dr. Barry, I think in the live was talking about how, what we call food can't even really be considered food, what's on those shelves, right? So we call it food, but it's not nutritious. It's not what your body wants or needs. So that would be a more apt term. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. How does addiction work, what we are really addicted to, and how to get over it.
That's good stuff. Greg, I asked you and you disappeared on me, so you're welcome back.
You might want to repeat the question.
The question is,
You're working on.
What are you working on? What videos, what content are you creating this week? What are you up to?
Well, tomorrow's my eighth month of being on a weight loss plan, so I got a kind of a bigger video plan for that. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get it out. Gosh, there's so many other things I'm working on. I'm working on a website right now. I have a lot of people reaching out to me wanting help with weight loss, and I need to get kind of a roadmap out there to point people in directions. So I'm kind of working on that right now. Definitely I've got a live interview next week and just creating more content. I try to do, I could literally do videos about every day on things I see and just things I experience, and just going to continue to work on creating more content, setting up more interviews with people. I like to kind of give some of the smaller channels, I'm a small channel too, but like a bigger voice and just try to get their story out there and help others. That's, I guess, what I'm going to be working on here going forward this next week.
All right. Brian, what are you working on?
So I have an offline interview with one of the health coaches in Dr. Barry's PhD community that I'm doing tomorrow evening. So that interview will, be scheduled onto YouTube probably in the next few days. So I have that thing coming up, and I have a live next week. It looks like next Monday with JT, Poco Moonshine Fam. And then, John, you and I have a live next Wednesday. And then it looks like probably next Thursday we're doing the Low Carb Football Party live again. So I have a lot of lives coming up here. In terms of content, I've been trying to work on some things. I've got probably at least a handful, if not 10 different ideas out there. It's just a matter of making sure that I've got everything researched right, doing the recording and then the editing and all that. Sometimes those videos kind of take quite a bit to do all that different stuff. So the lives end up being a little bit easier. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Nice.
Cool.
I forgot to say too, one thing I wanted to mention, I'm pretty excited about. I'm going to be on with Dr. Baker on October 6th on his channel, and that's
fun.
going to be amazing.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. So,
What do you got, John?
I have a live on Wednesday with you. And then Sunday, I have my, not this coming Sunday. Let me say that next week, Wednesday, I have a live with you. Then the following Sunday after that, I'm going to go back to my weekly 1 o'clock live on Sunday, my regular carnivore roundtable. We'll have that live. Then I have a live with Becky that evening, I believe. Isn't it on the first, Becky? I don't have my calendar in front of me.
It was the 8th. It's the 8th.
The 8th.
Yeah.
I got Mike Shaw on the 1st, Becky on the 8th, and Carnivore Kip on the 15th. So I have 3 interviews back-to-back Sundays after my live on Sunday too. So I'm going to have 2 lives each Sunday for the next 3 weeks after this weekend. So that's what I have planned live wise. I'm going to do a book review on Ken Berry's Kicking Ass After 50. It's an excellent book. I highly recommend it. I recommend getting the audio version of the book. The book is great to read, but the audio version is actually read by Ken Berry and the other author. I can't think off the top of my head right now. And then there's commentary in between the chapters. So it's like a book and a podcast all wrapped up in one. So, if you want to get that book and get through it, I really recommend the audio version of the book because it's really good to have all their input along with the book itself. And so I'll be doing a full review on that this week. And then I got some other stuff I'm gonna work on. I bought an air fryer. I'm thinking about doing a review on it, and just whatever comes to mind, I suppose.
All right.
So I'm getting ready to jump out of here, but I wanted to share one thing here real quick, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
As everybody knows, this is my 24th anniversary. And I want everybody to know that I married above my pay grade. This is my beautiful wife and me. 24 years ago, when we got married at the Chapel of the Bells in Reno, Nevada.
Reno, Nevada. That might have been where I got married the first time.
Did that post
I don't remember.
Is
That
my
was
picture
it,
up there?
1981. No.
Oh, it's in the thing there. You have to click on it, Brian, I guess.
What's that?
I tried to post the picture up.
Yep. I'm just not paying attention. Sorry.
There it is.
There you go.
Aw.
So
Happy anniversary.
Happy
Thank you.
anniversary. That's awesome.
in that picture, I'm probably, like I said, probably about 235 pounds, which is about 40 pounds lighter than I am now. And like I was saying at the beginning of the live, or when I came in the live at 9 o'clock, I had the realization over the last couple of days that I can achieve that, and I can achieve it before my 1 year mark. So I'm pretty excited about that. And now I was skinnier than that at one point. My wife's a good cook, and she helped put on a little bit of that for me. So but I'm looking forward to getting there.
Absolutely.
Anyways, there's that. I got to brag on my wife. I love her. So
Sweet.
All right.
I was not a good cook, but I was really good at going through the drive-through.
guys, I got to get up in the morning and drive to South Carolina.
right,
so
John.
I'm going to call it a night.
Have
I appreciate
fun.
I'm probably posting pictures and some videos and stuff for tomorrow before I go internet silent for the weekend.
Have fun.
All right.
Right on.
All
Happy
right. Thanks,
anniversary.
John.
It's nice
All
meeting
right,
you,
you guys
John.
have a good night.
Right.
All right. We got a quick update in the game. 49ers just got another field goal. I think it's
I'm watching
23
it now.
20 to 12. Yep.
Beyond.
20
Go.
20 or
Get
23?
that field goal.
Was it 20 or 20? 23, yeah. So it's 23 to 12 now in the fourth quarter. All right. One hope for all. Good night. All right.
Good night. I appreciate you subbing.
Night.
All right. So let's see. Again, if you have any questions for us, go ahead and put them in the chat. Anything you want to talk about, go ahead and put it in there. I don't know. We've pretty much done our topic quite a bit today. Don't really think I have any other questions off the topic for you all. Well, we really haven't been paying much attention to that game, but I guess it's been kind of boring. At least it seems every time I look at it, it just seems like there's not a whole lot going on there.
Oh, there's a big play.
Oh yeah, I'm still a commercial.
No, he fell behind.
Oh,
How much
really?
time's left?
Oh my gosh! Wait a minute. I'm
Are you
nowhere
not
near
live?
live. Wait, or am I?
I'm
The
live.
only thing
it
is
says I'm
my
live.
internet crashed, so maybe I'm behind.
Oh, it says I'm live. Yeah. Did you see the last field goal where it's 23 to 12?
No, I didn't. So mine must be
Oh,
behind.
you're
My
behind
bad.
then. Yeah.
I
there
forgot
you
my
go.
internet crashed.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm behind.
So Tam says this Halloween is the 37th anniversary of her first date with her husband.
Ooh.
Congratulations.
Sweet date.
Yeah, Halloween date. So my anniversary with my wife is coming up too. Last year was the big one, 25 years. So this year is 26. And that is next Tuesday. So when I was kind of given my stuff, like I think I said I had a live on Monday, and then I had like Wednesday, Thursday. You notice I didn't say Tuesday. I'm going to be like silent on Tuesday probably because that's my anniversary. So not sure yet what we're doing, but we're going to figure out something. We have a question here. Do any of you buy local bulk beef? I think we lost Greg again. So Todd, you're shaking your head. Let's start with you.
Yeah, I do. Me and my brother usually get, a couple of quarters a year, and then I'd always run out of the ribeyes first. So I go get the rib roast from Costco and chop those up. But yeah, mostly I'm getting ready to do it again. In fact.
All right, Becky, how about you?
I have bought from a friend who has her own cows that they just grow a couple a year, and so she always has stuff, but I haven't been, you know what? I didn't really like the taste of the grass-fed, grass-finished.
That happens a lot to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does grow on you though. But yeah,
I'm sure it would grow on you.
I can get it
but
for
it was
I can get it for about $4.70 a pound for a quarter to a half, or
that'd be
upwards to
awesome. Yeah.
$6.50. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Greg, now that you're back on, hopefully you're caught up to live on the game.
Yeah, I think
the question we have here is, do you buy any local bulk beef?
Right now I'm not, but part of it is because I haven't been working. So, funds are a little tight. So I just kind of pick up what's on sale at the stores. But once I have some income coming in at some point, I will probably buy local. I know my doctor gave me he gave me a name of 2 different farmers that you can buy from, which I plan on doing, but it's a little bit, you got to buy at least a quarter, maybe even a half of a cow. And it's like, well, you got to have some funds to do that. And I'm just not there yet. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm just, as you guys probably know, my mom's not in that great of health, and I've been kind of taking care of her. And I'm really not going to go back to work if I'm going to go back to work until till she passes. I want to take care of her and make sure she's getting taken care of in her last days, and then I'll figure out a way to start making money. Or like I said, I've had some, I'm getting a website going, and more people are asking me about how to lose weight, and I might do some coaching that way. I don't know. Sky's the limit. I've got an organization that contacted me this past week that they want to tell my story. And it could lead to some big things for me. So I'm just kind of just playing everything by ear, trusting God that everything will turn out, I guess. So that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. So for me, buying local bulk, I would love to go with one of the local farms and, get whether it's like a half cow or something like that. But I don't really have the storage space right now. I have the normal fridge and freezer, and then there's a second fridge and freezer, but it's not really enough. So what I've been doing is I've been going to Costco and getting like a couple weeks at a time. So like I'll get like Todd mentioned the rib roasts and then cut them up, or sometimes I've gotten just the individuals, but a lot of times I like to get the rib roast and then cut them up into my own steaks, the size that I want to do. And then I can get other meat from there as well. Last time I was there, I got some stew meat and some chuck roast and ribeye. And chicken wings that I got when I was there. So all that with like eggs that I get just going to like Aldi or something like that. And I got bacon at Costco too. Got like that they come in this like 4-pack of bacon. So I got that. So all those different things pretty much last me a couple of weeks. I'm kind of getting a little bit low again, so we're gonna have to go out to Costco again here in a few days and get some more stuff. But that's kind of how I've been doing it. So
I just got a big 20-pound rib roast today, actually. I'm excited. My dog, she eats 3 of those 5-pound packages of Costco's chuck stew meat every week. I'm like, I don't know where she puts it. She weighs 55 pounds and she eats like 16 pounds of meat a week. It's crazy. I'm like, you're going to have to get a job.
I'm going to try ground lamb on my next grocery run. Because Sana had a good, sort of a Middle Eastern style recipe on her YouTube the other day, and I'm going to try it.
Lamb is delicious, I think. Some people don't like lamb. I love it. I think it's lamb chops. Man, those are good.
Yeah, I've gotten the lamb leg things, whatever, at Costco before and smoked them. I haven't gotten ground lamb before, but so Tam says Costco is cool too. I'm on a subscription, get some every 3 months, so it doesn't take up freezer space. Getting all at once. Yep.
Oh, hey, there's something going back to what John was asking future wise, what you got going on. I'm going to make a carnivore sauce that I'm going to make a video on it and show you how to do it and what it is. And I'm not going to spill the beans here, but it's technically carnivore. So I'm going to probably do a video on that, because I think sometimes people, especially carnivores, would like to put something on their meat. And if I can come up with the sauce that, is really good, I think that people will be all for it, for doing something different. So sometimes you got to change it up a little.
I always ask people, but on that kind of topic there, do you guys ever use xanthan gum to make like carnivore gravy ever?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with it, but when I make chuck roast in the crock pot I use kettle and fire beef broth, and then I do the chuck roast, and I like to put the xanthan gum in there because otherwise the fat all floats on top of the broth, and it's kind of greasy. But if you put the xanthan gum in there, it makes it a great, and I really like it, but I don't know if I'm not having any problems with it, but I don't know if anybody has ever, had any complaints.
You lose such little tiny bit of it. You don't need a lot. Usually.
Yeah, it's like less than, it's like a half a teaspoon,
Yeah. It works pretty good.
Yeah. So
I made bacon mayo.
That was good. Is it awesome? I've never tried it.
It's really good. Yeah. Yeah, it's good on chuck roast, and
I bet that would be good.
I'm gonna try it. I roasted a whole chicken the other day, so I'm going to try like making a chicken salad with the breast meat to fatten it up. Yeah, because I still like chicken.
I love making bacon and like making an egg salad with bacon, but this was when I was ketovore, but I was trying to use that Primal Kitchen avocado mayo, and I can't stand that stuff. It is so gross.
That stuff is poo-poo.
Oh, it's gross.
Didn't like it.
And it's expensive. It's so expensive.
I know. I felt terrible throwing it away, but I'm like, I'm not eating that.
I know. They're like at Costco, I think they're like $17 for 2 big containers, but they are garbage. Ugh. So gross.
Yeah, I got those once too. It was not very good.
No, people brag about it and they're like, "Oh, this is delicious." And I'm like, "Don't lie, that's not good."
And your taste buds are broken.
All right, so I got a question for everybody, and Becky, we'll start with you. What did you eat today?
I had 4 eggs scrambled with a little tiny. When I say I have salsa, I'm talking not tablespoons, right? And that was breakfast. And then for lunch, I had 2 hamburger patties and some pork rinds and some guacamole. And then for dinner, this is where I'm totally ketovore. So I use Dr. Bickman's companies. It's called Health Code, their protein powder. So I mixed that up last night. You just make it like the shake, but I added butter and froze it, and then I put it in my Ninja Creamy today. So it makes it's a meal replacement shake, but you just use water to mix it. So that's what I had.
You ever put a keto chow in your Ninja Creamy?
Yes, that's what I used to order. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't not ordered. I'm not saying I wouldn't order it again, but I like this better a little bit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I found that I don't do it anymore, but when I was ketovore, and I still make it because my mom loves ice cream, but I found that you got to use 1.5 packs in the heavy cream to make it decent.
Yeah. But I just was, I was using heavy cream and doing it too much. So, trying not to do that.
All right. So, Todd, what did you eat today?
I ate pretty much the same thing all week. And today I had 2 about 1 3/4 pound ribeyes for breakfast because I do OMAD, so I only eat once a day. And so I had 2 ribeyes. My eyes were bigger than my stomach, though. I could only eat about 1.5 of them, and my dog got the other half, and she was very happy.
Before I go to you, Greg, I may have missed this. Tam is asking, what do you like better than keto chow? Did someone mention that they like something better than keto chow? Did I miss something?
She made
okay.
What was that? What did you like?
Okay. So I put it in her chat. It's called Health Code, but it's HLTH code.
Here we go.
And they have a chocolate macadamia flavor, and it has stevia, and it has something called butter powder, I think, in it. But it's a meal replacement shake, and Dr. Bickman does use it, and I trust him.
All right, good. So, Greg, what did you eat today?
Before I went to physical therapy. It was about 12:30. I decided I better have something because I was feeling a little bit queasy. So I had a hard boiled egg and one piece of bacon. And then at supper time, which was I considered my OMAD, I considered that was a snack before. And as far as OMAD goes for my meal, I had 2 pork chops, a slice of bacon, and 3 eggs, along with butter on basically with the pork chops. I put butter on it, so it was really good. Last night I had 2 New York strips. Those were really good too.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. What's
right,
it called? Todd will know this. Todd, what's it called when you buy can you buy a New York roast? I think I did that once and cut my own.
Yeah, they're called a loin roast. A loin
What's
roast?
it called?
A loin roast. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I did that.
Yeah, they're good for
It
sure.
was great.
It's funny because that's now when I change cuts of meats or how I cook it, I feel like I'm eating a totally different food group. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
What'd you do, Brian?
So I ate more than normal today. I only ate 2 meals though, but so my first meal I had like an 18-ounce ribeye and basically a pound of bacon, just 2 strips less than a pound of bacon. So that was like easily 2 pounds of meat there. And then for dinner I had chicken wings. Now let me start with saying they're the little party wings, so they're small, but I had 25 of those and I was still hungry.
Yeah.
And didn't really have anything else that was really ready to go at the time.
Ready.
So I had 2 beef hot dogs as well. So I feel like I ate a lot today for some reason. I just was really hungry and I don't know why. Because that's more than I typically will eat. Like, let's say if I eat like a 18 or 20-ounce steak, I don't usually have bacon or something with it. I just eat the steak. And then maybe later I might have, I don't know, 18 to 20 chicken wings, or I just might have another steak or something like that. And that's it. So I feel like I ate a lot more today for some reason. But yeah, that's what I did. So we'll see.
I have a question for the group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys find that with seasonality, obviously the season is going to change to fall, and I know we all kind of live in the northern part of the United States. Do you feel that your body changes as the weather is going to change? Like, it's almost like how certain animals put on their winter coat. Do you think we as people, that affects us different ways with food and eating? Just like, Brian, you're feeling like you're hungrier. Is that part of the seasonal change at all, do you think? Or do you even notice anything like that? I'm just curious.
We must get ready to hibernate. No, because I feel like I do. I feel like there's definitely a seasonal change.
I know I tend to be more tired.
Let's see how it goes this year. Me too.
I tend to be more tired, and then yeah, I mean, it's just I think it can affect your moods and your eating habits and stuff too, obviously. But I was just curious if you guys ever noticed that.
I definitely did before I was on keto and carnivore for sure. I'd always eat way more in the winter than the summer. But I don't know. I did just 2 weeks ago out of nowhere. I was so much hungrier than I've been throughout this whole thing, and I didn't know why. And I got a couple theories, but I don't know if it could be the time of year. But also, I didn't realize it, but we caught COVID again here, just went through our house. But well, I love it. Before it put me in, on my deathbed, and now I didn't even know I had it. I was like, did I eat something funny? Was something off? Because it was just very minimal. And but I think because maybe it's because I had COVID that my body was trying to do something. But I normally only eat 2 pounds or less of meat a day, and for like 3 solid days there, I had to eat more than 4 pounds of meat a day. It was driving me crazy. And now I'm back to normal. Now it's just like 2.5, maybe a little bit heavier, 2.25 pounds, 2.5 or something. But yeah, for like 3 solid days there, I ate 6 T-bones in one day. Like last week, I was like, what is going on?
It's funny because
So
I think, "Oh, wow, that sounds like a lot." But then I think about what I used to eat, and that was really a lot because I
Mhm.
never felt full. You
Right.
know?
Yeah, I know. But I think about, I used to my daily back then when I just gave up and didn't care anymore, I would get 2 lattes in the morning, 2 iced lattes in the morning on my way to work, and I'd drink those. And then before I'd get to work, I'd stop the coffee, I'd get those. Then I'd go to the gas station, I'd get a couple of donuts, and I'd get like 4 Red Bulls for the day just to start. And then I'd order at lunch, I'd order DoorDash and usually get a Jersey Mike's giant sub. And then at night, I'd go eat like a Little Caesars pizza. That's terrible.
Been there. Yeah.
I can't remember if we said hello to Sarah or not. I noticed she said hello. How's everybody in the group doing? I
Hi,
wasn't
Sarah.
sure.
Thanks for tuning in.
here we
Wanted
go.
to say hi to you.
Yep. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for tuning in.
So Greg, for your question for me, I don't know if I eat more as it gets colder. Well, it really hasn't got colder here yet. I live in Virginia. We have a tropical storm coming, I guess, though. So
Saw
that,
that.
yeah, Saturday it's only supposed to be like 68 degrees or something because the storm is coming through.
Wow.
It's been, it's been like mostly 80s and 90s, although we're starting to get some upper 70s right now here and there. So it's cooling a little bit, I guess. But it's still, Virginia can be weird. There literally was one year on Christmas Day, we were outside in shorts and it was 80 degrees. And then there's been years where like a week after Christmas, we got like 10, 12 inches of snow. So Virginia's weird. I don't know.
In
But
2001 here, it snowed 2.5 feet in July.
that's got to be horrible in July. Oh man.
It actually caused a massive amount because the trees had leaves on them, so it ripped all these trees down because it was wet, heavy snow. It just caused a terrific amount of damage.
I bet you're seeing some colder weather already being in Montana.
Yeah,
Probably.
it's only about 60 degrees. My air conditioner set at 61. I don't put a coat on until it's like 20 degrees outside. So it's up until 20. It's still shortcut and t-shirt weather.
I think it was 47 here this morning,
Oh,
but it got up to 70,
Ooh.
69 or 70 today.
Where are you at?
Wow.
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Bozeman, Montana, and we're right at about 5,500 feet in elevation, and it gets cold. Well, last year we had some 35, 40 below, weeks. It was pretty crazy.
So I was gonna say, by the way, the one thing that I wonder is like as the weather kind of changes, and I don't know if it's necessarily a thing about us as humans trying to adapt to it, but it seems like maybe part of it is like holidays coming up, but it seems like that's when we got to be more careful about snacking and junk food and stuff like that. And there's something I'm gonna bring up here really quick that I want to show you all. So let me figure out how to present this again. Share my screen. All right. So I don't know how well does this look. Okay, I don't know how good you can really see this. Let me see if I can increase this a little more. All right, how does that look? That's a little bit better.
I think I saw this on one of your videos.
Yes, I did a video about this. This is Dunkin' Donuts website and frozen coffee sugars, total sugars. Look at this. 168 grams on their blueberry cobbler large coffee. Wow. And that's one of the lower ones for a large. Butter pecan swirl. I saw a YouTube short earlier today. This guy was like, yeah, I'm having the butter pecan swirl. Well, guess what? He just had 181 grams of sugar in that one drink.
Wow.
It was
Just drinking it.
it was funny because my daughter had sent me a picture of their pumpkin spice one, and I think that's the one you did your video on, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's the pumpkin swirl one, frozen
Yeah, and
coffee.
she's like, "Is that the one that has all the sugar?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah, here it is. Pumpkin swirl, frozen coffee, even with skim milk. Doesn't matter if it's skim milk or whole milk. 185 grams of sugar. Now, that's the large. The medium is 142, and the small is 98. But
Oh, golly.
there are people out there getting the large, 185 grams of sugar. And when you look at all these are all their frozen coffees. Like, look at this. The lowest literally is the 92 right here. The small toffee nut frozen cream
Nut.
coffee, 92 grams of sugar. That's the lowest amount of sugar in one of their frozen coffee drinks. It's crazy.
Did you ever hear
When
that?
I work,
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, when I worked for Royal Caribbean's call center here in Eugene, that was the main thing our team would do. It would be, we're ordering from Dutch Bros, which is, I don't know if you guys have those where you are, but that's like a Starbucks or whatever. And I mean, I'm like, I don't drink coffee or any of that stuff. It was so full of sugar. I'm like, what are you people doing? We sit around all day. You can't.
Yeah, did you ever hear that talk about how, the human body, like a perfect metabolically healthy human body, has we all have about 5 liters of blood, but has 1 tablespoon of glycogen or sugar in the blood, and that's a perfectly healthy body. And if you just double that to 2 tablespoons of sugar, it's an absolute it's death. You are dead. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, so we're talking about,
Got to be carefully controlled. Yep.
Yeah. And so when we wonder why our body freaks out when we put, 200 tablespoons of sugar in it a day, by the time, if you're drinking, like I bet I was, because I was drinking 4 energy drinks. I was drinking soda all day. On top of that, I was drinking the iced coffees, those very ones you're talking about right there. It's probably 100, 200 tablespoons of sugar every day, Just incredible.
Can I tell a story?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So when we were moving from Coos Bay to Eugene, we came up to go house hunting, and we stayed at a hotel that was by an IHOP. And that morning we took the kids to get, breakfast there because it was close. And I had like pancakes and orange juice. And this was me in the car. I felt like I had gotten drunk. It was so bad. So I don't know how people can constantly drink those drinks, because I wasn't usually an orange juice drinker, but
yeah. Well,
I don't want to feel that way ever again.
The video I did about that drink, it was the pumpkin swirl, whatever, frozen coffee one, 185 grams of sugar. And I listed out comparisons of some different things. It was something like the equivalent of, it was like 10 of like the ones with the cream filled donuts, like 14 glazed donuts, the equivalent of 14 glazed donuts in that one coffee drink.
Wow. Yeah.
Insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a question. How do we get, this is from Sarah, how do we get people unaddicted to all that sugar? It's just become so normal for people, but I got over it, and so did you all. There's hope.
Yeah, there is. I was going to actually make a video on this because I love Kelly Hogan. Her channel's awesome. And she's been hit. Just been hearing her talk about something that I think I did accidentally. And I got to get brushed up on the right terminology she was talking about. But basically, I had a system that I built for several reasons when I was going through the beginning and the carb addiction and going through the withdrawals and stuff. But I just had like an emergency protocol where when those cravings would hit you so bad, and it was, for me, the cravings would not only be just crazy amount of cravings, but I would just get super depressed and full of anxiety and just felt terrible. And you just feel like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. I can't keep up with this type of thing. But I was starting to understand that was just some kind of, chemical thing going on in my brain. And so I wrote it in my journal. I made myself notes. I had it on next to my chair that I was sleeping in, and a little note to remind me that whenever that happened, I was just, before I had made any decisions, I just had to cook a ribeye or bacon and eat that until I was full. And at the time, the reason why I was doing that was because I read how you have two types of appetite control in your body. One is leptin, but when you're insulin resistant, your body does, your brain doesn't receive leptin signals, so you don't have leptin sensitivity. But the other one is the stretch markers in your stomach, which is why people like me and in my family would eat till we're full, because that would shut the brain off and tell you you could stop eating. So my idea was, if I stretched out my stomach with steak, I would trigger those stretch sensors and shut the signal off in my mind, and that would kill it. And that definitely worked. But what I noticed was, the more that I did that, the more my cravings and my taste buds would change. And I started when I first did this, I didn't like meat all that much. I didn't like steak. It was okay, but I liked meat when it was on a pizza or in a taco or on pasta, but I was not a huge just meat fan. But that changed, and I started craving it. And what Kelly Hogan was talking about was that when there's a real upside to those addictive cravings, that when you do just what I was doing accidentally, but when you do that, you get some, so that craving, in which I got to thinking about, and this is definitely true. If you think back when you're in your old lifestyle and you would have a craving for something and you were going to go feed it, maybe you're going to a restaurant or a drive-through or whatever, you'd start feeling happy going there. You would have like an endorphin fix, and that was called, what'd she call it? Like anticipatory endorphin fix or whatever. But you can kind of game that or hack that signal in your brain to, when you're having those cravings real bad, there's an upside to it, because if you do eat the meat, your brain will start associating that with those cravings, and you will start changing your taste buds and craving those meats. Because I kept telling my sister and stuff, like, this is crazy, because I didn't think I was ever going to like meat, and now I'm starting to get ravenous for meat instead of sugar. And the more that I got ravenous for meat, the less that I had carb cravings. It just went away,
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on how to get people unaddicted to sugar?
To this thought, it's very difficult, because we have this big food just absolutely marketing their way into your brain, making these hyper palatable foods. And until and unless medical establishments start saying sugar addiction is real, this is causing metabolic syndrome, it's the underlying cause of so many diseases, and people get on board with that, I'm not sure you can make that huge change. I'm not sure they even want to, because of how they get paid. I know there are people that are more eloquent about talking about that, like, Dr. Chafee and stuff, but, I agree with him 100%. So this grassroots movement will get some of them, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the more we normalize this, I was on, man, I'm trying to remember, Carnivore Cookout with Carnivore Today and those guys, Buckeye. And they asked me, because they couldn't believe that when I got into ketosis the first time, that I'd never heard of carnivore, but they asked me if I'd ever heard of Atkins. And I did hear of Atkins back then, but that was a taboo diet, right? Everybody said that it's just that it's the fad diet of all fad diets. It's, it's silly, and so that propaganda, the propaganda that the big food has built to push people away from what's real is amazing. And I honestly think they know. I think I asked this question and I want to get into it with people, but I don't want to be labeled some sort of conspiracy theorist, but I'm not sure how much I care of that either. But I don't think it's an accident that they're blaming global warming on cows either. You know what I mean?
It's not.
I think they're purposely attacking what they know is going to heal us. You know, they're purposely attacking the greatest opposition they have to this drug addiction, sugar addiction, pharmacy addiction crap that we got going on. And it's a ton of propaganda. And that's why I keep saying I'm looking so forward. And this is why I love doing these lives and stuff and talking to people like-minded, because it keeps me so, just hyper focused on the fact that I cannot wait until I am, down 450 pounds. And, I like, we're kind of a small community, so thousands of people know me. I work for a company where just everybody knows me, and they've always seen me as 600, 700 pound person. And I cannot wait to be 250 pounds and then listen to them try to tell me what I did was bad.
Oh, you ruined your health.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait
Proof's
to have
in the
all
pudding.
yeah, like I can't wait to have all of those conversations, because to me that's going to be, that's going to be the biggest diamond in the rough for my life, is being able to stand in front of those people that were all, they were always looking at me like I was a dead man walking and feeling bad for me and wanting me to do something for my health. And now I can say I did it, and this is what I did. And they're all going to, they already are freaking out, going, that can't be helping. I'm glad that you're losing weight, but your heart, your cholesterol, your blah, 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 blah. And the longer they see me live and thrive and get healthier, the more that's going to open that door. And they're going to be the ones that are having the sugar brain fog. And they're the ones that are going to keep going down this road, and their health is going to be deteriorating. And they're going to have to ask, they're going to have to ask. And I think that's how we beat this thing,
So DC Learning to Live says hello. And
Howdy.
then
Hey,
Greg.
Nice to have you here.
Greg, we haven't asked your thoughts on that question about getting people unaddicted to sugar. So what do you think?
I think until people wake up and see it for themselves, it's going to be a challenge. We just got to keep, we just got to be out here planting seeds, and hopefully people start watering the seeds and they understand and get it. Obviously more of us that talk about it, the more success we're going to have. I mean, it reminds me of a video I'm actually going to be making, because I was at the grocery store. Actually, the other night I went into Aldi, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with Aldi or not, but it's a different experience going to the grocery store now. And most of the stuff you walk by, and I was kind of by the section where, there's oils, the flours, the sugar. I stopped and stood back and took a picture of the sugar and flour. They were both on pallets, and it was the cheapest thing in the store. And I said, there's a problem with this, because there's a full pallet display for each. And I'm like, this is poison, and it's killing people. Yet it's the most easily, readily available thing to buy. So it kind of tells you all you need to know when you walk in the store and you start looking at the aisle, just like cereal. There's a full aisle dedicated to cereal. And that's not healthy for you. It's full of sugar. You got all the grains in there. You look at a grocery store very differently now, and you realize how much of it, 95% of it is just crap, stuff you should not eat.
Totally.
And I think until people see that and come to that conclusion, it's going to take them a while. But like I said, if we're out here planting seeds, hopefully, one by one, we pick people up and they understand, I get what these people are talking about. And then, like I said, the proof is in the beef pudding. When you have people come up and say, hey, I've lost a couple 100 pounds. Well, how'd you do that? It's going to open some eyes up, I think.
Totally. How can they possibly argue it,
Yeah. I'm just going to give you guys a quick game update. The game just ended, and the final is 30-12. San Francisco won. So that's where the football game ends tonight.
All right.
Yeah. That's about what I expected too, really, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
So I want to go back to something you said though, the cereal. What gets me is some of those cereals literally on the box say heart healthy,
Heart healthy.
and right under it lowers cholesterol and stuff like that.
Sure, you think of
And-
Cheerios and the way they were
It
marketed.
does.
Oh, these are healthy to eat.
So
And then you get sick.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Dr. Sean Baker had this on, I think it was Instagram earlier, probably on more social media than just Instagram, but I noticed on Instagram, there was a study that recently came out of Sweden, I think, and they, it was a long multi-year study, whatever, and it was something like 80, I don't want to say the exact number, but it was like 85 or 86% of females that had, in this study, that had high cholesterol and low glucose levels lived to be 100 years old, at least 100 years old.
Wow.
So that
Yeah,
is a lie
makes
about
sense.
cholesterol. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
You need high cholesterol.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
You do. You know what a scam that is too? Like, I forget the guy's name now, but he did a whole study
Ansel
on it.
Keys? Ansel Keys?
I know Ansel
Okay.
Keys is one that
Okay.
came, the scam of the 7-country study. No, this was a guy, he was actually an engineer, and he was trying to figure out what the real story was on cholesterol. But what he found out, he did a pretty extensive study, and the fastest way you can raise your cholesterol is to fast, because you're not putting animal cholesterol in your body, so your body makes up for that fat, and it raises your own cholesterol. And when you think about it, these doctors make you fast before
They make
all
you
your blood
fast.
work. Yep.
Yeah.
They make you fast, so your cholesterol is actually abnormally high when you go in for a blood test, just so that they can sell you the stupid drugs. So this guy went and tricked his doctor, and before he went in, when he was doing these studies, before he went in, he ate a big bunch of bacon and burger, and his cholesterol was on the floor. It was super low because he had just taken in all this animal fat, so his body stopped making cholesterol. And so the doctor's like, whatever you're doing, keep it up. It's great, And he was just showing how manipulative those blood tests are.
Yeah.
Yeah. DC says low cholesterol studies came out in the 1990s, 2013 and 2019, linking low cholesterol to depression, anxiety, and even suicide. Yeah, I remember seeing something about that. I saw something about that posted today too. I don't know, maybe even DC was the one that posted that. I don't remember.
My depression and anxiety got so much worse when I was on a statin. And that's why I told my doctor I would not go back on one.
I had never been more depressed in my life before I found keto by accident, I was on a high protein, low fat, moderate carbohydrate diet. And that was the most depressed and suicidal I'd ever been in my life. Like, it was absolutely miserable. It was the worst 14 months of my life. And I wasn't even, I thought that was something I was going to have forever. I never had any idea that had anything to do with diet. And just as a complete bonus on carnivore, it completely went away. It shocked me to death. Could not believe it.
That's great. All right, so we are hitting 3.5 hours on this live stream.
Look at us go.
The game is over. And I have to work in the morning. For me, it's 11:30 because I'm Eastern time zone. So it's 11:30 p.m. I have to work in the morning. So
you should be in bed, man.
Yeah. I think we're gonna wind it down here now. First of all, I want to thank John Carnivore Backwoods for coming on earlier on the show. I know he had to leave a little bit earlier, but I want to thank him. Becky, you've been here most of almost the entire 3.5 hours. I think you've been here with us.
Yeah, I came on pretty early.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
And Todd,
happy to do so. It's only 8:30 here.
Well.
Todd,
thanks for having me on.
I sure appreciate it, man. This was fun.
Me too.
Yeah. And
this is only my second live.
Oh, there you go. Good. Greg, this is the second week in a row that we've done this, and I think we're gaining momentum with this. So I look forward to doing this again next Thursday.
Yeah,
We'll probably
definitely.
bring on some guests again.
We did get
So
a few
we'll
more
see.
comments come in too. It looks like if you wanted to share those.
What do we got here? All right, let's see. High protein, low fat diets also lead to rabbit starvation.
I've never been hungrier than that diet. That was the most depressed, hungriest, miserable diet I've ever been on. I can say that without a fact. The only silver lining was that I feel like it had gotten me really close to ketosis, just because I was only eating 150 grams of carbs a day. And so that's why when I did finally eat just ribeye for a day, I just went into ketosis really quick.
Yep. I'm not sure.
He's referring to the women's shirts that he put on the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll head over there in a little bit.
Okay, cool. Eric says
tomorrow.
the white matter of your brain is made of cholesterol.
Yes, it needs it.
All right. So we're right at 3.5 hours here. So
all right, guys.
I'm going to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody that's watched throughout the 3.5 hours. I'm sure most people weren't on the entire time, but that's fine. And everybody that's going to watch this afterwards and so forth. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next Thursday for another edition of Low Carb Football Party.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.